went numb like a minute ago. I can't feel a thing from my head to toe. I lost my mind, man, I'm out of control. I can't stop, no, thinking I'm about to blow. Like a dog fight, you will see the bullets fly. War cry, and there ain't gon' be a place to hide. I got something that's deep inside, like an instinct saying there gon' be a fight. I can feel the eye of a hurricane. It's calm now, but I know that it's bound to change. I see the fight in the rise from a lot of pain. I feel the energy rise and something change. Yeah, I'm in deep now. My ears ring, it's about to get loud. My heart beats, I'm about to black out. So watch out. They ain't no going back now. 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 There ain't no going back now. There ain't no going back now. Yeah, I'm ready to brawl. Yeah, I'm ready to brawl. Yeah, I'm ready to brawl. Round two. Hands up, protect your face. You give blows to the dome and the blood you'll taste. You got one shot, so no mistakes. Pick your spot, let it rock, let out all the rage. It's a new me, ain't afraid of anything. You could put me in the middle of any ring. I will come out a champ when the hands swing. Watch out, you'll be knocked out in a blink. I can feel the eye of a hurricane. It's calm now, but I know that it's bound to change. I see the fight in the rise from a lot of pain. I feel the energy rise and something change. Yeah, I'm in deep now. My ears ring, it's about to get loud. My heart beats, I'm about to black out. So watch out. They ain't no going back now. 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 Yeah, I'm ready to brawl. Yeah, I'm ready to brawl. Yeah, I'm ready to brawl.
I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Took until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and thank God it's damn Friday. Woo! We made it. Fucking made it. Made it to Friday. Now what? I feel like crap. To tell you the truth, I'm happy that I made it to Friday because I have the next 2 days off with no physical therapy or chiropractor. This is my first week doing these two for 4 days, and not easy at all. Very painful, makes me very tired. I'm so looking forward to the weekend to have this break, and I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you guys are happy to be here on Friday. Goodness gracious. Let me go ahead and check the comments here. Yo, Albie, what's up, Jonathan? How you guys doing? All right, we're gonna jump right to it because I do got a couple of windows open, and there's one of them that's like 21 minutes long, and it's in reference to the case out here of the 12-year-old that I want to get a hold of and watch. I'm definitely gonna make my way out there eventually. Today was just not the day. I felt like crap all day today because I had a early morning physical therapy, and they really worked me too much, and I was exhausted. But I'm gonna be making my way to the area to drop off some candles and light them up, and um, see how the things are out there. I know the energy there is very hyped. A lot of people have a lot of emotions, and they're just uncontrollable right now. So I want things to like settle down a little bit, especially between today and tomorrow. Maybe I'll go on Sunday, depending on the weather, because weather plays a big factor. You can't just put candles out there and it's going to start raining. Eventually, the candles are going to go out. So not good. But let's go ahead and tap into some news that happened today. Give me 1 second to set this up. Let me set this up here. Okay. And this happened at the White House. This is something that happened earlier today.
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to around with the United States.
Woo!
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, you say you don't want to fuck around with the United States.
But that was a big moment. You know, when the tanks got stuck, they got stuck. And call it luck or call it talent. I'm not sure what you'd call it, but it was a big moment in time.
Do you think Democrats will give you credit? Do you think Democrats will give you credit when you finally end this war, like they did with the war in the Middle East? And
I think right now the Democrats are really damaged, mentally damaged. They want to take 1.5 trillion with a T, $1 trillion and give it to people that invaded our country. They came into our country illegally from prisons, from mental institutions, gang members. They want to give them health care and take it away from our citizens. We're not going to do that. $1.5 trillion. They want to destroy our healthcare system. We're not going to let that happen.
You authorized CIA operations in Venezuela as part of.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but some interesting things are happening around the world. I'll say that.
Mr. President, it has been reported that Maduro offered everything in his country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do in order to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to around with the United States.
Woo!
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Woo, my favorite president ever. You don't want to fuck around with the United States. You don't want to fuck around and find out. I'm telling you, Trump is becoming one of the best presidents of all time. He's within the top 10 easily, top probably 5, probably. I think he's sitting around the 6th mark on my list of presidents, but he keeps doing it, you know. Keep pushing along. Now this first story is about the 12-year-old and the second and the third, but they all tie in. So I want us, and this is not being televised nationally, so I want to put as much on my channel so others can see what the hell is going on and why this democratic state and democratic system is not pushing this news out nationally. It's ridiculous. This should have been the biggest story of the week, and yet it's quiet. The Democrats have it all quiet here in Connecticut, and I think we need to make it, and we need to expose these creepazoids here in Connecticut. The whole system, the DCF, all that shit is all fucked up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and set this up and let's watch. This one is going to be about 10 minutes long, I believe. About 10:19, and this one's about 21:13, and it's law and crime. So we're going to be watching that. Let's go ahead and set this up, and you guys can watch.
Today, police confirmed many people's worst fears after a recent disturbing discovery in New Britain. Investigators say the human remains they found belonged to a girl and were uncovered in a large container in the backyard of an abandoned property.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that this would
They
happen.
didn't do nothing because of the drugs.
In New Britain.
A grandmother and her two grandsons stopped by to pray for a girl after police say her remains were discovered at this abandoned property in New Britain.
To see someone that young lose their life and wasn't able to have a life and, you know, to share joy and everything.
All day, people offered condolences and left behind balloons, candles, and flowers at a growing memorial on Clark Street. Today, police confirmed the human remains found in a large container in the backyard here on Wednesday were those of an adolescent girl. In a statement, they wrote in part, "Our police department has been working around the clock to piece together the information that has come forward to determine a timeline and an exact location of events leading up to our discovery earlier in the week. Investigators have not yet publicly identified the girl or her age and say more work is needed by the medical examiner's office. But they realize the community has so many questions surrounding the girl's death."
It's overwhelming, very overwhelming. It's a little kid. It's a little kid. You know, it's crazy, just crazy.
Our goal from the start of this was to bring justice for whoever murdered Jacqueline.
Today, investigators announced arrests in connection with the killing of 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia. Officers say her decomposed remains were found in a plastic storage bin on an abandoned property on Clark Street in New Britain last week.
I want to thank the men and women that are standing behind me who have been working around the clock to get us to this point.
Now, officers say they have arrested the girl's mother, Carla Garcia, and charged her with murder. Also charged with murder is the mother's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita. Police are still looking for him. The mother's sister, Jacqueline Garcia, was also arrested on a child cruelty charge.
This is just...
Investigators revealed the girl, known to so many as Mimi, likely died about a year ago in the fall of 2024 while the family lived in Farmington.
Okay, this is going through a timeline, okay? So when they say they're looking for him or stuff like that, you got to remember he's already been caught. He's in jail. He saw the judge. They gave him a $5 million bond, which is stupid. There should be zero bond, like no bond. Like you're not leaving jail. Like, no. Like, this still, with $5 million bond, it still gives them an opportunity, a chance to get out, which is ridiculous. These people should not even be considered being let out at all. They need to rot and die in jail, like, right now. So that's how I feel. But let's go ahead and continue.
Been any reports that she had been missing? Had anybody raised concerns, either from school districts or anybody, about where she had been for months?
No.
Officers say it appears Jacqueline had been physically abused for a while and malnourished. They think her body was kept in the family's basement and then later moved when the family left Farmington in March this year.
This case is a deeply heartbreaking and disturbing case. No child should ever have to endure such suffering.
Get out of here. Get out of the world.
Today, emotions running high in a courtroom in Torrington as 3 people appeared on charges following the death of 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia. A relative telling us, quote, on behalf of the family, let them all rot.
That's what I
Jacqueline's
said.
mother, Carla Garcia, faces various charges, including murder.
Given the facts and circumstances of the case, the nature of the charges, city is asking that bond remain as set at $5 million.
Also facing a murder count is the mother's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita.
He has a warrant outstanding out of New Britain Police Department.
The girl's aunt, Jacqueline Garcia, is charged with child cruelty. Today, New Britain schools confirmed the girl, known as Mimi, was enrolled there from kindergarten through 5th grade. But the district says in August last year, when Jacqueline was supposed to start 6th grade, the mother withdrew her, saying she was now living in Farmington, and filed a form to homeschool. Investigators say Jacqueline likely died last fall. Her body was kept in the family's basement and then moved earlier this year. After finding her remains in a storage bin last week in New Britain, police say evidence appears to show she was malnourished and physically abused. Her grandfather spoke to us soon after arrests were announced.
We want her like a daughter, you know, so that's why right now we got the heart broke, you know.
It was just 8 months ago. We had another situation involving a Waterbury child who was homeschooled, who then dropped off the radar screen, only to be discovered allegedly locked up in a house for years. The New Britain School District was told Jacqueline Torres Garcia would be homeschooled as well, leading to questions if this needs to be tracked better. The Connecticut Association of Superintendents of Public Schools, while complimenting parents who homeschool, also believes the laws need modifications, including annual check-ins by parents of homeschooled children.
It is our responsibility, according to the state constitution, that says we must educate every child. They have a right to homeschool if they so choose. But I think we have a responsibility to ensure that every child is accounted for.
The Connecticut Homeschool Network said in June its members oppose requirements like that.
We don't utilize the public school system. Our system historically works. Homeschooling just works across the board. We don't need that oversight from a system that we're not part of.
The Connecticut Homeschool Network added it considers this an overreach, noting the failures have more to do with the Department of Children and Families not keeping tabs on its cases. Governor Lamont indicated he'd support more oversight.
Sometimes we, the state or DCF or the locals, lose contact with kids if they're not going to school every day. So we're trying to find better ways to just keep a track on those kids and make sure tragedies like this can be avoided.
Lots of concerns and questions as people stop by the growing memorial for 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia. Following the discovery of her remains, emotions seem to be rising from here at the site to court in Torrington yesterday.
What?
Get out of here. Get out of the world.
That's where 3 people charged in the case appeared: the girl's mother, the mother's boyfriend, and the girl's aunt, Jacqueline Garcia.
In terms of cases, she is currently on parole.
Garcia is facing charges, including child cruelty. It's not clear what led to her arrest since the warrant is sealed for 2 weeks.
Judge, not a lot of monies are gone.
Now we are learning more about the aunt's previous arrest in 2023. According to the arrest warrant, Garcia brought her then 11-month-old daughter to Connecticut Children's after reporting an issue with her leg. Officers report that a DCF worker told them the child was hurt and had multiple bruises and fractures on various body parts and at different stages of healing. Initially, detectives say Garcia reported the child had previously fallen, but investigators say there was no record of a pediatrician being
Connecticut is a piece of shit.
like Garcia claimed. In the warrant,
At least the
detectives
government
say
is.
Garcia
The
told
state's
them
beautiful.
She was also suffering from postpartum depression. Jacqueline commented that taking care of her 2 children is hard because victim's father is always working.
I would have never thought from her personality that she was even capable of doing something so horrific.
Kimberly White says she lives a floor below Carla Garcia, the mother of 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia. White says she met Garcia when she moved into the building in April. Soon after, their kids became playmates.
Her daughter, that is still currently alive, and my son were really good friends, like bread and butter. She was always trying to come over here. He was always trying to go upstairs.
She says she was friendly with Garcia, but the two didn't talk much. When human remains of a girl were discovered on Clark Street in New Britain last week, White says she heard Garcia could be involved. The two were talking about doing an episode on White's podcast when Garcia sent her a text message that NBC Connecticut obtained a copy of. It read in part, quote, "I didn't put my daughter in that container and throw her like she's a piece of trash. I am grieving." We then verified Garcia's phone number with a family member.
She didn't seem like a monster. She seemed like a high-spirited young lady. I'm 45. She's way younger than me. So I felt like the need mom mode kicked in, like, let me help you.
White says she saw Garcia on Sunday, a few hours before she was arrested. Garcia was charged with murder and conspiracy to commit murder in the death of her 12-year-old daughter. Her boyfriend and sister were also charged in the case.
It's just disturbing. It's heartbreaking. So many words to describe what happened.
Family court documents indicate Jacqueline Mimi Garcia lived with her paternal grandmother, Patricia Delgado, from birth until she was 7 years old. At one point, Delgado even sued Mimi's mother, Carla Garcia, for child support. Carla Garcia, now a co-defendant in Mimi's murder, was awarded custody in 2022.
But DCF took her away from me. I felt they forced me to hand over the girl, and I went to court, and they told me that the grandmother no longer had any rights to take or even see the child.
The DCF, or Department of Children and Families, has not commented on what Delgado, the paternal grandmother, said.
I know by experience.
But the agency has said it has been involved with Mimi's family in the past, and it's reviewing its records. Court records also show the girl's father, Victor Torres, took Garcia to court over joint custody in 2023. He wrote, "I want to see my children weekend like we agreed when given joint custody, or any day for that matter." Mimi's mother, Carla Garcia, sought sole custody of her in April 2024. Custody was granted to her months later, and soon after that, police believe Mimi was dead. The paternal grandparents told us Carla Garcia would not let them see or talk to the child.
Wow, that is crazy. It's crazy. It's like, whew, there's just a lot to it. And that's why I want to watch this next one. This is the long one. So this is going to break down some of the law and crime, because I like law and crime, especially on the case. Yeah, we're gonna watch this one now. We're gonna watch it together, and then we'll talk about it. I'm monitoring the chat, especially when I have the videos playing. Okay, let's set this up. Hope you guys having a good Friday. I'm having an awesome Friday. I'm happy to be Friday night. This is like the relief. Like, woof. Made it through the fucking week. It was a very tough one. I mean, physically for me. But I want to make my way to Mimi. I just gotta. I gotta get the candles. I tell you, I feel like shit today. I just like slept so much today. After I got back from physical therapy, I just slept because I was like, my body was just so tired. And, when you're in pain and you have injuries like I do, you get tired faster and you get more fatigue and you're really out of it. So that's why I'm going through what I'm going through. And I'm actually seeing the surgeon on Monday. So I'm seeing my neurosurgeon. And we're going to figure this shit out. We got to figure this out. There's some crazy shit going on with me. And it's just very weird. It's just, I only can report what I feel and the sensations that I'm going through. I can't just operate myself and be like, it's that right there, that motherfucker. Like, no, I can't do that. But let's go ahead and watch Law and Order. Well, actually, this is Law and Crime. I like Law and Order, actually, but Law and Crime.
giving a glare to the people in the courtroom before breaking into tears as she made her first court appearance. This mom is accused of killing her 12-year-old daughter a year ago and hiding her body in a box. That girl, Jacqueline Torres, was found in a container behind a vacant home just last week. Jacqueline likely died in the fall of 2024 while her family was still residing in Farmington. Evidence indicates that Jacqueline was the victim of prolonged physical abuse and malnourishment prior to her death. Also in court today, the mom's sister and boyfriend. They are also accused in this alleged twisted case of deadly child abuse. We're on the case presented by
They don't show the father because the father doesn't live in the state. They live in Connecticut. So, like, I don't know where the fuck he is at, to be honest with you.
We cover a lot of tough stories here on The Case and on Law and Crime, and if you're watching this, you probably know that. But there's sometimes, especially in cases involving children, where we come across something and you're at a loss for words. And the only word that comes to mind in this case is evil. Now, of course, Carla Garcia is innocent until proven guilty, and that also goes for her boyfriend and her sister, who are also facing charges in this case. I'll get to them in just a moment. Today, Garcia and the two others made their first appearances in court in Connecticut. Garcia entered the courtroom where people were wearing outfits in support of her now dead daughter. She shot somewhat of a glance to people who were sitting there. She then faced forward, and it looked like she was breathing heavy, and then she started to weep at one point. Now, here's a picture of the girl at the center of this story. This is a girl who deserved so much more and so much better in her 12 years on this earth. Her name was Jacqueline Torres. People called her
They showed a picture of the father.
That she lived with her
I
mom,
reported
Carla
it a few days
Garcia,
back
because Carla Garcia had custody of Mimi. It is unclear the last time Jacqueline Torres was in school. Now, it was outside this vacant, rundown home in New Britain, Connecticut on Wednesday last week that someone called 911 and police came upon a container. It was a container that had the remains of Jacqueline Torres inside. Police say that Torres's body was badly decomposed, and here's more of what authorities said about what they believe happened to this young girl per WTNH TV. Investigators from the Farmington Police Department, with the assistance from the New Britain Police Department, have determined that Jacqueline likely died in the fall of 2024 while her family was still residing in Farmington. Evidence indicates that Jacqueline was the victim of prolonged physical abuse and malnourishment prior to her death. It is also believed that following her death, Jacqueline's body was kept in the family's basement and subsequently moved when the family relocated from Farmington in March of 2025. Fall of 2024, roughly an entire year. And the mayor of New Britain says a missing persons report was never filed for Jacqueline Torres. And this family, according to the mayor, was known to DCF. A lot of questions there about how no one noticed she was gone until her body was allegedly found behind a vacant house in New Britain, Connecticut last week. Now, we know that Jacqueline Torres, with her mom and whoever else, lived in Farmington, Connecticut for a period of time. That's about 15 minutes away from New Britain, where the girl's body was found. Authorities believe that Carla Garcia allegedly kept Jacqueline Torres's body in her basement, and then when the family moved to another location outside of Farmington, they took the remains with them. They believe this family moved in March of this year, and then last week, the body of Jacqueline Torres was allegedly dumped in the backyard of that abandoned home. Police say that Garcia was arrested on Sunday night. She is charged with murder under special circumstances and conspiracy, and she is being held on a $5 million bond.
Where the is my niece?
Now, that is video that went viral on social media of Garcia being taken into custody shortly after Mimi's remains were found. This was reportedly taken by Jacqueline Torres's aunt. Police say that Mimi Torres was the victim of prolonged abuse and malnourishment. Police say Garcia's sister Jacqueline is also under arrest in connection to this case and Mimi's death. Here she is appearing before a judge today, right around the same time that her sister did in Torrington, Connecticut. She also appeared to be crying as well. Now, her bond is set at $1 million, and she is not charged with murder in this case. She is charged with unlawful restraint, risk of injury to a minor, and intentional cruelty to a person under the age of 19. Now, at the time that police held their news conference last night announcing the arrest of the Garcia sisters, one other person was wanted in connection to the case, and at the time of that news conference, he was still at large. His name is Jonathan Nanita, and he is Carla Garcia's boyfriend. Well, he was arrested overnight, and he made his first court appearance this morning in Connecticut as well. And you can see something happened to his face because he looks like he got beaten up. Now, he is facing charges including murder with special circumstances and conspiracy. Police say he was the one who allegedly dumped Mimi's body behind the house that prompted the call to 911 and prompted authorities to find those remains behind the home. To think that this young girl was not seen for a year is frankly shocking. It's sad to think, in the deepest and darkest of ways, that for the past 12 months, this girl was dead, according to police, and no one ever filed a missing persons report in connection to Mimi Torres. The mayor of New Britain also said that DCF was in contact with this family at some point, that this family was known to the state, and yet Mimi Torres was allegedly dead for 12 months, and the state didn't know anything about it. It is unclear what the contact did look like in the DCF case and how recent this family had communication with DCF. There is a lot to unpack in this case and a lot of questions still unanswered. In putting this story together, a really important tool for us is truthfinder.com because it helps us learn more information about the people involved in our stories. And in a story like this, where you have multiple suspects, it's a really important tool and reports. Just go to truthfinder.com/OT. Every story is tough and sad when it comes to cases involving children. But I will say, when I heard the mayor of New Britain say that this girl was dead since, or it might have been the police chief of Farmington, dead since November 2024. Like, it was just this chilling moment.
It was more
of realizing how evil.
I think she died before she took
of,
out of school.
how evil it really is. And I don't even know where to begin other than just like, I think there's going to be this big question of like, how does this happen? You have the abuse, but then the fact that it went for so long that no one asked where Jacqueline Torres was.
No, this is the problem. Having, because it's upsetting to see this continue to happen. And I understand child services are always extremely busy. There's not enough resources available. There's not enough investigators available. There's not enough time available. When it comes to parenting, you have an expectation they're going to be parents. They have a divorce proceeding. She gets custody. We don't know why. Apparently, DCF had them on the radar at some point, but there's no follow-up because if there's no active immediacy, a lot of times, child services does not interact immediately. There's been a lot of pushback against child services because they're worried about the rights of the parents, but we always forget the rights of the kids. We're always worried about these kids getting what they want, what they need. And to be out of the system, nobody knowing where she is, and then having this happen, and we've seen it time and time again. And it comes back to there's like an adage in a movie called Parenthood. It's like anyone, you need a license to drive, but any a-hole could be a parent. And it seems in this case, the systemic, it looks like systemic torture of this child, selective torture of this child to physically abuse her. There's not one person who spoke out for her while she was alive. And that's the problem. Sometimes the state needs to intervene more when it comes to kids getting homeschooled. If that's what happened and she was pulled out of school, there should have been at least some sort of a division of homeschool services that they actually have personnel that can go to the houses and just make sure they're getting something, Zoom call, anything. Technology is available. If you get visible action and you see the person on camera, at least you have something. They did nothing. And she's on the radar, the family's on the radar, but to what extent? And it continues time and time again. The darkness and evil people have toward their kids at times is just mind-boggling.
It is. And this was a case, too, where, it just gets worse and worse. So as far as, before we get to DCF, because there are a lot of questions about exactly what happened and, what type of contact the state had. How do you not have contact with the family, if you're on the radar, and then it was at least a year that no one saw this girl. And apparently there was just a lot of abuse leading up to her death. When it comes to the charges we're seeing right now, you have Jacqueline Garcia, who's the sister of Carla, who's the mom. She's facing, Carla's facing murder charges. Jacqueline, it seems like some abuse charges. And then the boyfriend, Jonathan, is facing charges of being an accessory to this, but it also seems like they believe he moved the body to that location in New Britain, in the back, where they end up finding this girl's body in the dumpster, or in a container near a dumpster.
Yeah, when you do the investigation, apparently now one caller identified, at least said there was someone who putting the body there, and it might be the boyfriend at this point. I know he's been arrested. This investigation, you have. The problem is right now, I don't know if they're going to upgrade the charges for murder, because you're going to have a connectivity between the injuries and the abuse toward Mimi at this point, and connecting it to the boyfriend and the aunt. The daughter, the mom is easier to do because she had full custody of this child. So that's what they're looking for. And I believe that when you're dealing with this, the district attorney's office has worked really lockstep with the investigators. And that's why the charges are going to, they pursue, once police make that probable cause arrest, and which is they do, you have to get to that next level. And I believe with the lockstep of the district attorney's office, of the prosecutors in this case, they really see that this case is going to have legs to actually convict these individuals for the crimes, and maybe upgrade the crimes to the boyfriend and to the mother's sister.
And we know that obviously the arrests, we're still waiting on the court documents right now, so we'll see how they were able and what they'll say about uncovering what they believe happened. It does seem, as far as an investigation, I know this is where things get morbid, that they were able to piece together not necessarily the cause of death, but what was allegedly going on in her life, and the abuse and malnourishment they say happened to this child. And then eventually you get to a point 12 months later, roughly, where you have a badly decomposed body. But it does seem that law enforcement has been able to get a good amount of information to put a story together about what happened.
Yep, that's the benefit of this. And that's why you could actually, they're saying almost a year in which Mimi was dead. And they've held that body for over a year. And they transport the body from one location to the next. And then they decide, I guess they ran out of room, because who knows why they did what they did. And this is all, allegations against them. But, when you have the connectivity of the person dropping the body off is one part. The ME's office, I guarantee you, when it's for the decomposition, that's why when officers went to the scene, the first responders, the detectives, there wasn't enough they could see right then and there. That's why the autopsy was necessary, to determine that there was malnourishment, and that can be determined by the ME, by the doctors, to see how the body, a 12-year-old, what is a 12-year-old supposed to look like, or physically, even though they've decomposed, you can find something, and that's where they see. And going back to fill in the blanks of the investigators, when they can determine that she hasn't been seen in over a year, and they could actually find out the systemic abuse that was taking place by Mimi. And that's the whole thing about this case. Law enforcement can only do things when it happens, when the criminality is afoot. When DCF or any child services gets into these cases and we find criminality, we can make an arrest based on that. The prosecution part of it is going to be up to the DA, but we want to do the precursor and see why, if DCF is involved, when did the engagement take place? Why wasn't there a follow-up in any way, shape, or form?
A whole year.
And it comes back to the same thing, the overwork of these agencies, because there are people out there.
Yeah, overworked.
This is, when you deal with kids, the systemic abuse.
Here in Connecticut,
we make the arrest, we find all the evidence to support that. But the reality is, when they said justice is served at that press conference, justice isn't really served. We're finding out the truth as to what happened, because Mimi's never going to get justice, because Mimi's dead. Mimi's not longer on this planet, and that's the scariest part of all. Her father, good, bad, or indifferent, will never see his daughter again. The rest of her family will never see her again. Investigators look to find the truth, and that's what they're doing here, is they're finding out the truth as to what happened to Mimi. Unfortunately, we cannot do is do anything before the criminality takes place. A lot of times we may engage with social services, but as far as police are concerned, this is what we do afterwards. It's, we deal with the criminality of, in this case, it was a missing, an investigate DOA, which is now determined to be, now it looks like it's a murder case.
It is murder.
How might they be able, because it's very specific to say, well, I said November 2024. I believe they said the fall of 2024. So I don't know what the specific date is where they believe
I think she
the
was
last time that she was alive.
before
But how
school
might they be
started.
able to
That's
track it
when they
to
took her out
that
of school.
time as opposed to, I know the dad had
She was
reportedly
dead
said
before then.
that he thought it was sometime around January that he saw her because her birthday was on the 29th. Apparently it was much earlier than that, that authorities say that Mimi was killed. How do you actually piece together and find the day that she might have died?
You might not have a day particularly. That's why they have that time frame. That's the reason why when the father said January 29th, that gave us a time frame on his information. But then you have to actually confirm that information. Right now, we're trying to confirm the information available with this. And are we getting an exact date of when she disappeared? It's possible, but it's going to be based on interviews, canvases, any friends or associates she's ever had, any social media accounts she may have had that might have dropped off the system, any communication that the mother had with the sister and the boyfriend. That's where you're going to do all this. That's why when you talk about cell phone records, cell site towers, all these things come into play. Now, this is over a year. So that's the other issue. If DCF was involved, did they do any engagement? When was the complaint generated? When was a visit made? That's the other thing coming into play because police, we're going to do our work. That's why at the scene where the body is, you're going to probably go back and see if there were any other calls prior to that location because we have a date and time when the body was dropped off. That's what we see right now. But now we have to go back into Mimi's life.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to take place. And it's not going to be easy.
No,
That's
and
not
I mean,
easy.
and that's the thing. I mean, she was untraceable. I mean, to think that there wasn't one person, friend from school, and we don't know when she was out of school, but it was believed that she was a student at some point, a friend, neighbor,
Until like fifth
anybody
grade.
who had asked. And I know they moved from Farmington to another community, so that probably put them off a trail of having people that they knew. But, I also think too, I mean, you have 3 people who are accused of this horrific crime. And it's like, how do 3 people come together and everyone would go through with this? And I know that there's, that's kind of like a grand question that we often have in cases like this, but I wonder for investigators, especially with the aunt, if she's accused of abuse, she's going to face some serious time in prison. How do you go about potentially getting one person to turn on another person as you have these 3 people who are now all facing, and likely even if they cooperate, they'll be facing serious time in prison. But how do you go about trying to get one person as leverage on another?
Well, that's where the prosecutors have to go to the weakest link. Who do they either have the strongest case against that will turn on the others? But right now, if the mother's going to be the accused of murder, you're going to look at the other 2 to see if they will actually give evidence or give statements to that kind of a queen for a day thing. In lieu of either reduction of charges, reduction of time in prison, whatever it's going to be. That'll be up to the prosecution part of it. But what detectives are going to do now is they have to build the strongest case against all of them. So it makes the prosecutor's job a little easier to put that leverage against one or the other person. The mother was given custody. The mother, there was no missing persons report ever generated. So they covered this up. So there's a conspiracy aspect to this. Now, here's another question. I don't know if you can look to a federal aspect to this because they're transporting a body from city to city. It's not state to state. You could try to find weighing some leverage against them somehow. And that's where you look for the weakest link in this case. Would it be the boyfriend? Will it be the aunt who is involved? To what extent their involvement is in the systemic, and apparently the systemic abuse of Mimi is something else. So your mom is the main target. But you want to build the case against all 3 as the investigators are doing. So then if we want to have somebody turn on the other, to do that queen for a day, then we have the ability to do so because the weight of the evidence against them is so overwhelming. Because right now, I'm not sure if they were going to, I think they're $5 million bond each. Mm-hmm. They're not going anywhere. So the case isn't over yet. That's what people I sometimes forget, that just because they're arrested doesn't mean the investigation stops. It's continuous investigation because we have to build that case to support the charges against all 3. And that's what you're doing right. And that's what they're doing now. And that's why when you see, the joint operations between Framingham and New Britain, and also the state, because the state's involved, Connecticut State Police are involved. You want to make sure this case is sealed up tight. So if you want to turn and get the more evidence, we have to know how long the boyfriend was involved with the girl, with the mom, what relationship the aunt had with the mother, and all of these things will come into play with that investigation.
Gotta talk.
It's just what a,
One
a
of the girls,
sad case. I think above all,
talk.
shocking. And we'll see how the legal part of it plays out. But a lot of anger, and deservedly so, in Connecticut over this girl. And you just wish that there was someone along the way that had, whether it was DCF or the school district, someone had seen something ahead of time. To think that this went on, her body being hidden allegedly for a year is just, it's so unfathomable. Retired NYPD Detective David Sarney, really tough case here. Thanks for joining us to talk about it.
Thank you very much, and stay safe.
I'm definitely going to be following up on this. It's just it's really disturbing. And the fact that it's not getting national news. That's even more disturbing to me than anything. No national news. Nothing. I mean, I could even go to the damn place. That's not that, like, I gotta get the candles. I know they don't have 12. Well, I can see if they have in the back, but it has to be blue, because that was the color that she liked. Yeah, it's just a whole year. It's just to me. Okay, a whole year. I keep seeing early fall, not like it could have happened before the school year, and the mother could have taken her out. But that's so crazy, man. A whole year. Mind you, the dentist, I'm sure that girl goes to the dentist. Never got called for an appointment or anything in that 1 year. Her doctor never bothered to call to say, hey, it's been some time. You gotta come in and, get a little checkup. And, nothing. Holidays, birthdays, fucking Christmas and Three Kings. I mean, Easter, 4th of July, all these holidays. Like, I'm just like, a whole year. I think it's more than a year. Something keeps telling me it's more than a year. It's just wild. That's just wild. Makes my stomach hurt. Makes my stomach hurt. And nobody checked in that year. I like. A whole year. And they had the beefs, like the family. You could tell, like, the mom the mom had the baby, she had the kid young, and until a certain age, and then the mother came in and took over. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Damn, that's strong energy. I know if I go to that area, I'm like involved because of the energy. Now I'll start hearing things and then feeling things. But it's sad there. There's a lot of energy, sad energy. And that's a lot of strong energy. A lot of strong energy. That is crazy how a whole year. As a young girl, 11 years old to 12, like 11. Damn, man. It gives me a headache thinking about it. Like her head was like banged, like punched and hit. Crazy energy. I'm not sure what it means, but I had the numbers 379, and you said the aunt, the boyfriend, mother. I don't know what it means. It's funny because I was going through numbers in my head, and those numbers came up in my head too. 379. It's a lot of. That's just wild. Because there's another child involved. Thank God that she didn't do nothing to that one. But man, that's like a horror story, man. I'm telling you, wherever she died, that place is because people's focusing on the house where the body was found. They're not focusing so much on the house where she got for YouTube's sake. Because she wasn't killed there. That was the last destination where someone called the police to say, someone's illegally dumping here, and the police came and checked, and then they discovered the body. So it's just wild. It's just wild. All right, we got other news to go through. Man, I got a lot for us to go through. Holy shit, it's gonna be a long one. It's all good. Thanks for being here with me. And thanks for those who are rewatching. Thank you. Appreciate it. Try to do my best to bring up some good content for us to watch. Let me see. I'm definitely gonna start playing some of the stuff that I have here. Oh, damn. And Tyson came out with 2 videos today. Damn, that means he's gonna come out with 3 videos today? I'm telling you, this guy works so freaking hard. He's doing a great job. But he's really pushing it to, and he's doing really good. I'm proud of him. I'm glad to have him on the channel, and have him a part of us here. It's like a little secret honey hole. That's what it is. It's a secret honey hole where Tyson could come and we can both speak our mind and have a good time. And it's not like a swarm of people yet coming at them with questions and so forth. Because I can see that happening. And then, yeah, it's going to get crazy. Let me see here. Just checking something. This is a crazy story. We're gonna we'll check out this story a little bit later. This is a wild story. I definitely want to see this one. Let me see where it fits in on the storyline. Okay, I think that works out. Doing it live is so funny, right? Okay, all these YouTubers they do it like Tyson. Tyson he edits his videos, so he don't have, he can break off in segments, and this is unedited. Okay, here we go. All right, listen, let's watch, see what's up.
More breaking news now. 2 months after baby Emmanuel Haro was reported missing in the IE,
Motherfucking baby Emmanuel.
Second-degree murder. But for many in the community who've been following baby Emmanuel's case, well, this guilty plea is not bringing closure. Eyewitness News reporter
No, it's not. Where the fuck is the baby?
The very latest on what happened inside the courtroom today.
I know the fucking wolves got him. The coyotes got him.
Well, I think the burning question
more
right
the
now
wolves.
is, where are baby Emmanuel's remains? That's what the closure that some of the people I talked to are looking for. They want to know where he's at. Now, Jake Haro, the baby's father, facing 25 years to life after he admitted to murdering his son. Now, of course, his admission drawing what the community said was their worst fears. Jake Haro sat in a courtroom for what was expected to be a routine hearing. His wife, Rebecca Haro, seated across the courtroom in a jury box, shielded by her attorney. But in a stunning turn of events, Jake Haro's attorneys announced a major shift in strategy.
And Your Honor has in front of you our change of plea from not guilty to guilty.
Haro pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of his son, 7-month-old Emmanuel. On August 14th, the Haros claimed that their son had been kidnapped in the parking lot of a Yucaipa Big Five.
Him out of the car seat, and I laid him down and so I could get his diapers ready. And somebody said, "Hola," and that's all I remember.
But their
Hola
fell apart. 1 week later, both were arrested and charged with murder as investigators intensified the search for the child's remains. In court today, as Judge Gary Polk read out the charges, Haro gave a tearful response.
You did willfully and unlawfully murder baby Doe, and it shows EH, a human being.
Haro also pleaded guilty to assaulting a child under the age of 8, causing death.
And did willfully and unlawfully assault said child by means of force that to a reasonable person would be likely to produce great bodily injury, resulting in the death of said child.
Haro entered his pleas directly to the court without involvement from the Riverside County District Attorney's Office, meaning the DA was not involved in any plea deal with Haro. The DA's office releasing a statement that reads in part, because there is still active criminal proceedings involving Rebecca Haro, the district attorney's office will make no additional comments regarding the case or the guilty plea of Jake Haro.
So far, I feel justice was served, but we still want to know where he's at so he can have a proper burial.
And the community says they are planning on having a celebration of life in Banning this Saturday at 2 o'clock there for a celebration of life for baby Emmanuel. As for Jake Haro, he'll be back in court on November 3rd for his sentencing. Rebecca Haro will also be in court on November 3rd for a preliminary hearing. Reporting in Riverside, Leticia Juarez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
That's crazy. I I'm telling you, ever since I got this mask, everything's just been like wide open, like third eye wide open, just letting things happen, and it's getting recorded, and it's like it's a movie that is like it's so weird to be alive right now with all the crazy shit going on. It is. It's such a magical time. Fucking people are crazy. They can't handle the energy. I tell you, the energy has been hot for a long time, and people have been doing crazy shit. These are the ones that are just being caught. There's a lot of them that are still missing and lost. You see their posters every time you go to Walmart. Like you see the bulletin right next to the bathroom. Have you seen me? And they have all the pictures of all the missing kids on your state. I could take a picture of mine. I go to Walmart. I'll take a picture. I'll show y'all. Crazy. It's crazy times we're living in. And people can't handle the energy. They be doing some crazy shit. And that case is so close. I don't, I can make it to the courthouse because I know they're gonna have the court date. I think is on November 14th. So maybe I could go there and maybe take some B-roll and send it to Tyson, and then I know they're gonna release more information because they have like evidence sealed until the 28th of October, and they can release more information. So that day is gonna be important. And I think the area where it's gonna be busy for that announcement is gonna be at the New Britain Police Department in downtown New Britain. I think that's where they're gonna have the conference and talking about the evidence and stuff. That's just crazy, man. That's a crazy story. I want Tyson to cover it. I'm telling, I'm like, I'm gonna do the B-roll for him. I already got the date, the November 14th. I got to see what time it starts, and then be there at least an hour and a half to 2 hours before the court before it starts and stuff so forth, because it's probably gonna get a little busy there. But I'll try to go. I'm gonna take my chair with me. I'm taking my I have a folding chair, and I take it with my shopping. I have a little cart. Oh, the train! I hear the train. Train of truth. I know. So I take the chair in the little cart, and I take it with me. It's crazy, man. And that hits home, because I have family in New Britain, Connecticut. I have family there. I was seeing like a lot of numbers. It's just like, especially like making it like a heart and breaking it down. But the place where she died, that place is gonna have a lot of energy. It's gonna have a lot of energy. Because where he found her is not where she died. That's crazy. That little girl suffered. And the fact the family wasn't there. What kills me is Christmas. There's how could you not, like, there's more to the story, right? Because how can you not get in contact for the holidays? How? Like, I could feel that little girl crying. I could feel her crying. Like the sadness, the crying. She had no chance. She had no chance. Like, my aunt is a pig. That's what I'm hearing. Like, my aunt was a pig. Yeah. This sucks, man. All right, let's keep it moving. Because I can feel attachment already with that energy. It's so nearby too. It's just like it's overwhelming me. Because I got family in that city. I have family that lives there. I have cousins. I have a lot of second cousins. Family. You know, it's crazy. From my mom's side, they're all from my mom's side. Let's see here. All right, let's continue to the next story.
A new arrest in a 40-year-old cold case of the rape and killing of a 16-year-old girl. It previously resulted in 3 wrongful convictions. Now 63-year-old Richard Bilodeau from Long Island charged in the 1984 murder of Teresa Fusco. News 4's Greg Sergel, who's been covering the case for decades, has more.
Why'd you kill her? Head-bowed 63-year-old Richard Bilodeau was led to court today, charged with a crime that occurred 4 decades ago. The 1984 rape and murder of 16-year-old Teresa Fusco of Lynbrook.
She lives in my heart, as you can see.
Teresa's father watched in court today, grateful, he said, to see this once cold case revived by prosecutors.
I never gave up hope. I've always had faith in the system.
Richard Bilodeau was 23 when Teresa Fusco was murdered. He lived about a mile from where her body was dumped. But it wasn't until 2024 that prosecutors say the FBI generated leads identifying Bilodeau as a possible suspect. When he visited a tropical smoothie cafe near his Center Moriches home, investigators recovered a cup and straw they say tied Bilodeau directly to the murder.
The DNA from that straw, Richard Bilodeau's DNA, was a match to the sample that was taken from Teresa's body.
Mr. Bilodeau professes his innocence. He pled not guilty today.
Bilodeau's lawyer reminded reporters today that Nassau investigators have been wrong about this case before.
The convictions of 3 men who spent 17 years in prison for a terrible crime have been thrown out.
Back in 2003, a New York court overturned the Fusco case convictions of John Kogut, John Restivo, and Dennis Halstead. The release of all 3 also prompted by DNA evidence.
I always knew that DNA testing would vindicate me sooner or later.
Nassau's current DA didn't prosecute the original suspects, but Ann Donnelly believes this time Bilodeau's own words about the 1984 case will come back to haunt him.
He said, people got away with murder back then. Well, Let me tell you something, Mr. Bilodeau. It's 2025, and I got you now.
Today, a Nassau judge ordered Richard Bilodeau held without bail on murder charges. By all accounts, he's lived in relative obscurity these last 4 decades, most recently working an overnight shift at a Suffolk County Walmart. In Mineola, Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
Damn, that was crazy. That was really out of nowhere. What the hell? Yo, cold case finally got him. It took a long time, but they finally got their man. And damn, he was working at Walmart. Damn, that's not good for Walmart. What's up, Walmart? You be hiring some crooked ass people. I know it's wild at Walmart. When I go to Walmart, I go very early in the morning. So I be there like at 7:10 in the morning. I go there early. Because if you go at the witches, like all the witches and the crazy people start coming out of nowhere, especially when it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock, forget about it. I want to be done by then. Because then you're heading to the register and the registers are empty. But the store is starting to fill up with people. So I'm like, fuck that shit. You know, I beat that rush. I love doing that because it's so much better. It's crazy people. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh no, these fuckers. All right, let's see what the fuck is up with these fuckers. Oh no, tomorrow's the fucking No Kings stupid day. The fucking bullshit. That's bullshit. No Kings bullshit. But gotta cover it somehow tomorrow. I don't know. I got a lot of shit to do tomorrow. I don't know. I'll give it some energy when I get back from doing what I have to do. I'll probably come on and do something just to cover that story a little bit. Do probably an early show that I'll cover sometime, and then just do one show for the day. But start it a little early because it's Saturday, you know. But we'll figure it out. Okay, let's see what are we gonna watch. All right. Oh Lord, this shit. I did that twice. Oh Lord, this shit. This shit right here. Let's watch.
Hey! Hey!
The No Kings rave is tomorrow. Yo, Terry, what's up? Terry got here for the violence. No one gets away with their deeds, especially their dirty deeds. Especially the dirty deeds. Damn, he's pushing her back. That's it, they're gonna start arresting. What the fuck is going on here? Oh man, this is a precursor for tomorrow. I don't know.
America, this is America right here. The fascist arm of America. These are
These people are so stupid.
He wants to hurt me. He wants
Just
to
push. Man, why is he antagonizing? That's all he's doing. To put it on the video. That's all it is. You know, that's how. Listen, have you ever seen Hunger Games, especially the last movies? How propaganda wins wars. You know what I mean? And the more propaganda, like it's like a powering thing. And yeah, you should watch the Hunger Games. That's a pretty good movie. I probably watch it this weekend. I like Hunger Games. It gives me such like vibe. This is like Hunger Games vibes. I'm like, I'm kind of liking it. I actually like the Hunger Games. The last movies, it was alright, but you know.
Let her go!
The paddy wagon. They got the paddy wagon. There are more people. There are more people.
This is the Illinois State Police. Please clear out the roadways to the designated protest area.
Because they're playing music and everything. Imagine doing this every fucking day. Yo, I hope tomorrow's not crazy, but I have a feeling it is because the Democrats have no damn choice and people is just crazy. That's all it is. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna stop pushing and then start arresting. You know what I mean? And they're gonna come with numbers. Oh, listen to shit. Oh Lord, what is happening here? What is going on here? People are in like rhythm, singing. What is this? They must have like the end of the world is coming. It's the end of the world, and you know it. Oh no! Oh no! This is the protest. Man, tomorrow's gonna be fucking crazy. These people are like super on it. Look, they got an accordion too. Are you kidding me? No, this is funny. This is like the Village People 2.0. What is going on here? We got a bucket, Oregon. We got a guitar back there. We got some rappers. And I don't know what else. We got two guitars back there. We got three Palestine. This is good. You know, have peace already. Like they have a peace deal, or like they have a like a ceasefire. Like, hold on, let me bring it back to me. We need a fucking break. I'm not high enough for this shit yet. I wasn't ready for that. I'm sorry. I wasn't ready for that. That was weird. Why I torture myself like this? I feel like I produced this for people to watch to be tortured. It's like, Rick, what the fuck you make us watch? I'm like, the fucking what's happening. It's not my fault. I'm just showing you this is what's happening. Like right now, people are just going crazy. And this is every day because people will go to sleep, right? And you wake up to a new day and you decide to do the same shit over and over and over. And you're given so many chances because you have so many chances of life every day that you live life until your last day. And then you're out of lives. And then you go to the afterlife. Oh man, my eyes. I want to cry. It's so funny. Like these people are the village people 2.0. I don't know. They're like free Palestine. Like, are you kidding me? Have they not been watching the news? They have not been watching the news lately. That's fucked up. I mean, newsflash: President Trump made a deal, but your boys, the Hamas boys, are out there killing Palestinians. So, what do you mean by free Palestine? Like, what? To take them all out? To free them from their lives? Because that's what Hamas is doing right now. I don't hear you like singing, "Stop Hamas now! Stop Hamas now! Stop Hamas now!" with their little guitar and their accordion. Stop Hamas now! No, you don't hear that. No, free Palestine. Yo, get with the fucking times. You're so delayed. We're already there's the peace deal. Like what else free do you want? They got to rebuild. How about rebuild Palestine? Rebuild Palestine? Like what the fuck? Like why is it a slogan every single time with you guys? I don't get paid to do what I do. I come out negative with what I do. Shit, just the candle budget is crazy. It's wild what I do just to entertain myself and you guys watch. That's what it is. I'm entertaining myself and you guys are just watching because you're watching my Mind Over Your Matter. I had to finish this joint as fast as I could. Like I had to like choke it. Like I rolled up 2 joints for this fucking show. That's good of how good of a psychic I was, and I thank God I rolled up a second one. Crazy times we're living in. All right, where were we? Let me size these up. Because there's some stories here that needs some sizing. Some resizing. I gotta resize them. 1 sec. We got a good amount of news to watch. A lot of them are not that long, so I'm hoping to be done by Tyson's release tonight. Hopefully, if you release a video at 10:15. Sometimes he doesn't put it out on time. I finish the show, and literally as soon as I'm finished the show, 10 minutes later, his video uploads. I'm like, oh damn, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow because I watch it part of the show. I watch it with you guys. I don't watch it on my own. So every time you see Tyson De La Cruz show on my show, that's the first time I'm watching it. Let that be known. I watch it together with you guys. And if you already watched it, congratulations and thank you. Thank you for supporting Tyson. Tyson's really cool people. I have him here every Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Time PM and 4:30 Pacific. And he's here every Thursday. And he's very committed to it, which is so cool. I like it. It's cool. We'll see where it takes us. See where it takes me. That's crazy, man. There's a video here. I haven't. So it's a breaking news. I guess it's from the 12-year-old. That girl is gonna be on me for a good amount of time. You know that, right? Because I'm already entwined with her energy, and I'm a psychic medium. and I'm very, very, very strong empath. And once that energy attaches to me, it's like I start hearing, seeing shit, and it's just wild. But I'll document it. I'll probably go live from my phone. I'll do a little entry and everything, and have a little graphics going on, and then we'll start the show, and then I'll be live at the location and showing you guys the location. So I gotta take the candles and everything. So that's gonna be a bitch. Because they're heavy. these candles, these tubes, these 2 candles, if you're carrying about 12 of them, that's a little heavy, okay? So I'm gonna put it in my little cart and take it to the location, and then have someone set it up for me and how I want it. I already have the little design right here. I kind of like made the design as a heart. You can't really see it. Hold on. See the little heart? I was making a design with the candles and how I want the candles. That's crazy, right? All right. I'm invested. Let's go. Let's watch.
Breaking news.
First for you on Eyewitness News at 4. Stunning new information in the Jacqueline Torres case. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brian Shackman. The Department of Children and Families releasing a detailed timeline of its involvement with Jacqueline and her family. She was found dead in New Britain. Her mom's boyfriend charged in her murder. Your reporter Dylan Fearon live to break it all down for us. Dylan.
Well, Brian, DCF was involved right at the beginning of Jacqueline's life, because when Jacqueline was born 12 years ago, her mother, Carla Garcia, was being held in a detention center. We also know DCF was involved with Jacqueline's family even after she died. The department just didn't know it. A shocking new development released by DCF. In January this year, the department was investigating concerns into Jacqueline's sister. Jacqueline, according to police, died months earlier. So when DCF came asking questions, Jacqueline's mother, Carla Garcia, allegedly told DCF Jacqueline was being homeschooled and was out of state. But DCF wanted to conduct a video call with Jacqueline to make sure she was okay. In a stunning allegation, DCF claims Carla Garcia had a different child pretend to be Jacqueline on a video call to calm DCF's concerns. DCF also says it provided services to Jacqueline's family from 2014 to 2016 and briefly in 2017 and 2021. Jacqueline also attended 3 medical appointments this decade, and DCF didn't receive any reports of child abuse or neglect. And Brian, DCF also making it clear today the family can always come forward if there's neglect or abuse going on in the home, and that family, if they do come forward, can also remain anonymous. I'm your reporter, Dylan Fearon, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
And Dylan, thank you very much. There will be a memorial.
Yeah, the memorial was today at 5:30. And there was no way in hell I was going to make it to it, because my shoulders hurt. My back hurts. I'm like lucky I'm doing this show. But here's a picture of the father. I know Jonathan was asking. I don't know if this report is going to show it, but let's watch this report.
We do thank you for joining us here for the News at 5. I'm Keisha Grant.
And I'm Mike Heideck. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, the Department of Children and Families is now explaining its
These laid off Willy Wonka types wouldn't survive the Hunger Games. That is so funny.
DCF has faced intense questioning since it was revealed the department had been involved with the family. NBC Connecticut's Matt Austin is joining us now in studio to break down this timeline that they're providing.
Yeah,
Matt.
so Keisha, Mike, a lot to walk through here. The Department of Children and Families thought its last time seeing Jacqueline Torres Garcia was during a video call earlier this year. But police believe that was actually months after her death. And now there are questions about the identity of the girl who apparently posed as Jacqueline. Now, going back, the department says they were first involved with the family in January 2013 when Jacqueline was born and her mother, Carla Garcia, was in a detention center. Jacqueline was placed with her father's family, and that's where she remained until 2022. Family court documents indicate the girl, known as Mimi, lived with her grandmother, Patricia Delgado.
Only God is helping me. God is helping me to pass this process. I've been with her forever, and I'm always going to be here.
Now, in May of 2022, DCF says a superior court returned guardianship of Jacqueline back to her mother and father, including with support from DCF, the prior relatives, and the child's attorney. They also interacted with Jacqueline in September that year during an investigation involving her younger siblings. The department says the kids were enrolled in school and seen in the community during that time. DCF determined the children were safe. That case was later closed. In May of 2024, DCF says Jacqueline attended a medical appointment, and between November of 2022 and the fall of 2024, there had been no reports of child abuse or neglect with the family. Jacqueline's mother filed and was granted sole custody by the family court in June 2024, which DCF says it was not involved with. Police say the girl likely died in the fall of that year. Then months later, in January of 2025, DCF was investigating allegations concerning Jacqueline's younger sibling. In a statement, DCF wrote in part, Ms. Garcia stated at the time of our investigation that Jacqueline was being homeschooled and staying temporarily out of state with a relative. In response, DCF conducted a video call with a person who mother claimed to be Jacqueline, but again, police believe Jacqueline had been dead by then, so it's unclear who they actually spoke with. DCF says that information has been turned over to law enforcement and is still actively reviewing the situation, and lawmakers have concerns.
And I have a lot of questions about this, and I want to see my eyes on those reports, not a report about the report.
And today, state Democratic lawmakers have not gotten back to us, but previously the chairs of the Children's Committee had said DCF had, quote, failed the girl. We're told Jacqueline's siblings are now in state custody. And New Britain Schools just provided these documents Jacqueline's mom filed in August 2024 to pull her daughter out of school and the plan to homeschool her. So lots of questions still, of course, about everything. Mike and Keisha.
This investigation is going to continue for a while, Matt. Thank you.
It is going to take a while. I hope we get some answers because it's crazy, man. It's really crazy. They have some updated news here, so we can take a look.
And first on Eyewitness News at 6, shocking new developments in the Jacqueline Torres case. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Stephanie Simone.
And I'm Brian Shackman. The girl's remains were found last week in New Britain, and now the Department of Children and Families releasing a detailed timeline of its involvement with Jacqueline and her family.
And your reporter Dylan Sheeran breaks it all down as we follow this developing news tonight. Dylan.
Well, DCF was involved in Jacqueline's life right from the very beginning because when Jacqueline Torres was born 12 years ago, her mother, Carla Garcia, was being held in a detention center.
A stunning new development released by DCF tonight. In January this year, the department was investigating concerns into Jacqueline's sister. Jacqueline, according to police, had been dead for multiple months, but officials had no idea. So when DCF came asking questions, Jacqueline's mother, Carla Garcia, allegedly said Jacqueline was being homeschooled and was out of state. But DCF wanted to conduct a video call with Jacqueline to make sure she was okay. In a shocking allegation, DCF claims Carla Garcia had a different child pretend to be Jacqueline on a video call to calm DCF's concerns. DCF also says it provided services to Jacqueline's family from 2014 to 2016 and briefly in 2017 and 2021. We've learned Jacqueline attended 3 medical appointments this decade, and DCF didn't receive any reports of child abuse or neglect. There's also been a major push this week for homeschooling reform in Connecticut, one of the few states with little to no regulations.
The fact that these abusers can use homeschooling to hide their children from mandated reporters and can hide this abuse is super disturbing. And that's one of the reasons we would like periodic check-ins just to ensure that the child is safe.
Los Fidel is spearheading this push to lawmakers, starting a petition with more than 6,000 signatures in 2 days, calling for Mimi's Law after Jacqueline's nickname. The law would require periodic in-person checks for homeschooled children with the state. Fidel is calling for state employees to wear body cameras at family check-ins and prohibit convicted child abusers from living with children, which happened in Jacqueline's case with her aunt, Jacqueline Torres. Of course, Fidel needs the attention of state lawmakers. He's reached out to many of them, hoping they'll listen.
I am hoping that other people and lawmakers can affect or, I suppose, make legislative changes that will ensure the safety of all children. I think they're absolutely disgusting. I think those people deserve everything that God has on their path. I believe that they should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. I think it's horrible what that child endured.
And that petition is on change.org. Just search Jacqueline Torres. Meanwhile, the Senate GOP is commenting tonight on the video call between DCF and the child Carla Garcia claimed was Jacqueline, but wasn't, writing, infuriating. DCF admits to being duped via Zoom. The state of Connecticut failed Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia. That's outrageous. That's inexcusable. That's heartbreaking. We now need more answers. We need full details of this video call. We need full transparency. Certainly more to come on this part of the investigation next week. I'm your reporter, Dylan Fear, in Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Dylan, thank you. And right now in New Britain.
That's just so sad, right? It's so sad. And it's not even national news. That's what's even sadder. That sucks. I'm here drawing a heart. I'm here like trying to perfect how I want the candles to be. So I'm like drawing the heart and then getting a full like view on what I want it to look like. So that's what I've been doing, drawing. Just a little setup I want to do for Mimi. That girl's going to be in my head. That's because I have roots there in New Britain. And I think this is going to be the perfect setup. I think Mimi will like it. She's going to love it. Especially the colors that I'm going to put. And I did a little grid in how I want the candles, and then it has to line up a certain way. It'll work. All right, let's go to the next story. What we got here? All right, what's this one about? We're gonna find out. Can't really see right now. I gotta put eye drops. My vision is like not cooperating tonight. I gotta put eye drops. I got them here. Let me put them on now. Fucking crazy. Ooh. Ooh, burns. Okay. Let's try to watch. I'm gonna try to watch. I'm gonna watch on my phone. But let's watch this next segment. I don't know what it is.
Away from the Capitol. In the state of Texas, Fox News exclusively embedding with the Austin Police Department as they raided illicit Chinese massage parlors.
What?
Part of a massive operation targeting human trafficking.
$5.
And organized
Extra 15
crime
minutes.
networks. It was just one of the many
$5.
human trafficking
$5.
taking place across the country in Operation Coast to Coast, which saw more than 60 victims rescued, including juveniles. Here is the Austin Police Department on that operation.
Most of these places have deep, complex roots with overseas, Asian, Chinese criminal enterprises. We're going to close this one down today, but it's going to be very easy for them to open up another one anywhere else in Austin or anywhere.
Brooke Taylor live in Austin with the details on this exclusive report. Brooke, what you find out? What you see? Good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Well, we exclusively embedded with the Austin Police Department for the
$5
ring of these illicit massage parlors. Now, they weren't just going after traffickers and these organized crime networks. They were also trying to rescue as many victims as possible.
We do right now.
Be right here. We're going to drive past it. And we're going to roll in when they're ready.
Austin Police, search warrant.
On the outside, these businesses are advertised as spas, but detectives say many like this one are being controlled by Chinese organized crime networks and used as a human trafficking hub.
This is a pretty common trend. Watch your step here. A massage bed, shower bed is pretty common nowadays for operations like this, and that just leads into a kitchen.
And just a few minutes away, simultaneously, officers with the Austin Police Department raided another illegal massage parlor. One of the victims found sleeping inside this disheveled room here with clear signs that others had also been living there.
Oh,
quite often,
we work overtime.
Forced, coerced, threatened in some way. Their passports
We
are
work
withheld.
overtime.
Their families are threatened.
Walkie-talkie.
They themselves are threatened.
$5.
They get hooked on some sort of drugs.
And these raids are part of a nationwide human trafficking operation on
$5.
Thursday called Operation Coast to Coast. More than 150 different law enforcement agencies across the country participated, including Missouri, Oklahoma, California, and in New York. It's all coordinated by the Human Trafficking Training Center. They train officers and bring all of these agencies together.
About half of the agencies that we deal with will go after the illicit massage business industry, which is the fastest growing of all trafficking in America. And it is all Chinese organized crime. And all this is going right back to China. All the money's going back to China. The victims are coming over here from China.
Now, all the police departments, they're taking a victim-centered approach here. The national nonprofit called Safe House was also involved in this operation. They help these trafficking victims with resources and show them that there are options and there are ways out. Now, at last check, there were more than 30 people who were arrested, charged with trafficking and other charges as part of this investigation, and then more than 60 victims found nationwide. The youngest, I'm told, was just 14 years old. She was being trafficked on an escort site and forced to service more than 10 men a day. Thankfully, her suspected trafficker was one of those arrested during this op, Bill.
Wow, that's some eye-opening reporting there. Brooke, thank you on that.
This is crazy,
I'm
man.
Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to
This is
subscribe.
happening every day in America. This is America. Yep, sure is. Man, it's so crazy, man. We're living in crazy times. All right, let's keep it moving. I don't want to be here all night either. Let's check this one out.
First up at 11, a warning from firefighters about a dangerous social media trend that landed a St. Pete teenager in the hospital. It's called the Jam Jar Pulse Jet. Serious burns can result from this.
What is that?
Name. Fox 13's Danielle Zulkowski is in our newsroom now. Danielle, so firefighters say they really need parents to step up and make sure this doesn't happen to their kids.
Yes, absolutely.
What
the
the
St. Pete
hell?
Fire Department says parents should talk to their children about this trend and anything that involves fire to try and make sure no other child gets burned.
Being cool on TikTok could come with dangerous consequences.
Crazy.
We had a young teenage boy set himself on fire trying to do one of these challenges, and he will be faced with life-altering injuries now that he'll deal with for the rest of his life.
Just this week, a 14-year-old boy in St. Pete landed in the hospital with burns to his legs after trying the Jam Jar Pulse Jet trend,
Which produces a fire hazard, an explosion hazard, an uncontrolled event that can set a house on fire or even set a person on fire.
The trend involves pouring rubbing alcohol in a jar, putting a lid with a hole on top, and lighting the alcohol on fire. The problem? The jars can explode, throwing fiery rubbing alcohol on anyone standing nearby.
That can cause significant harm, permanent damage of vision, permanently scar you. Heaven forbid it causes a laceration or something that causes
Yeah,
life.
you gotta be careful with kids and alcohol.
But the fire risk.
You gotta keep the rubbing alcohol hidden. Don't have it easily available.
What the St. Pete Fire Department says, the
Because
post is
little
not
kids are
worth
fire
the pain,
starters.
and says parents should stay involved with their teens, talk to them about what they're seeing online and the safety risks of lighting alcohol on fire.
Just engage with kids and then also find opportunities to highlight the risk with kids, right? The risk of getting burned, the risk of setting the house on fire, so that they understand there's real consequence with these things.
Womack says it takes real courage to stand up to peer pressure and avoid these trends, and parents should remind their kids of that. As far as the 14-year-old injured earlier this week, his parents heard the noise and they were able to put the fire out. The child received non-life-threatening burns to his legs. Chris?
Wishing him a speedy recovery, and hopefully this stunt is a cautionary tale for anyone else thinking about trying that at home. Thank you, Danielle.
All right, let's keep it moving. That was crazy.
Now at 4 o'clock, troubling allegations against a daycare director in Miami-Dade County. She's accused of smacking a 3-year-old while changing his diaper.
The woman leaving red marks on the child's leg. Local 10's Leanne Motorhon is live with how she
slapped the
was
kid.
Leanne.
Calvin Nicole, she is now a former daycare director locked up here at the jail behind me, accused of slapping a child in her care.
Oh my God.
Good morning, Miss Alcala. Do you speak English? Or Spanish? Spanish. Ma'am, you were arrested for 1 count of child abuse. It's from October 10th. I will appoint the public defender's office for you.
52-year-old Rosa Alcala appears in bond court in an orange jumpsuit.
All right, so there's probable cause for the charge.
Alcala is now the former director at Easy Daycare in Hialeah. According to her arrest form, Alcala is accused of slapping a 3-year-old so hard during a diaper change, it left behind a handprint-shaped mark. The child's mother contacted Hialeah police a week ago after finding the red mark on her son's thigh. She also contacted the daycare owner, Natasha Johnson, who quickly reviewed surveillance footage and allegedly saw Alcala slapping the child.
Do you understand the stay away order?
¿Entiendes la orden de alejamiento?
Sí, ya estoy botada, sí.
In court, the judge ordered Alcala to stay away from the child and the daycare. She told the judge she had already been fired. Johnson confirms Alcala was let go the day after the incident and that her business is cooperating fully with investigators.
Right next to a church, too.
Alcala was ordered held on a $5,000 bond, which online records show she has
$5,000
posted.
bond?
As for that daycare owner, she declined an on-camera interview, but told me by phone that Alcala had been with them for the last 3 years and that in her 7 years as owner of the daycare, they have never dealt with any sort of incident like this. In fact, she says that the child at the center of this alleged abuse has actually rejoined the daycare. He is still going to this daycare, which she says is a testament to the trust this family she still has with them and speaks to their organization and this daycare. Reporting live here in West Miami-Dade, Leanne Morejon, Local 10 News.
Yeah, I know that place. My dad used to work across the street from it. It's my old stopping grounds. It's like these videos just pop up. I don't even review them, and I'm like, oh shit, Hialeah, my old stopping grounds when I was a little kid. I went to I went from middle school to high school. I graduated in Hialeah, and I lived a good amount of time in Hialeah, especially after Hurricane Andrew. When Hurricane Andrew happened, we were out of power for such a long time, and our place was fucked up, and we ended up moving to Hialeah, West Hialeah, and for a good amount of time I lived in the west side, and then we moved to Hialeah, and then from Hialeah we moved to East Hialeah. My family was never content. They always moved around. They never stayed still. I feel like they have more ants in their pants than anything. It's like, fuck, keep moving. I'm fucking getting tired of moving. I hate moving. I'm at the part in life that I fucking hate it. I'm not doing it. I resist. But, yeah, it just wasn't fun. But yeah, that's my old stomping grounds. That's pretty cool. We have a story. All right, let's keep it moving. I can't see shit. I still can't see shit. I can barely see, so I'm just waiting for the drops to kind of dry out in my eye. It's just the left side is still a little wet. All right, let's continue.
Fox News alert the FBI arresting an alleged October 7th attacker living in Louisiana. Federal prosecutors say the 33-year-old man took part in the Hamas attack on Israel, then traveled to the U.S. on a fraudulent visa. Senior
Are you kidding me?
Sarah has more on what we're
What
learning.
the fuck?
Yeah, Sandra, he was living here in the U.S. legally, at least on paper. Investigators say he lied on his visa application by failing to disclose his alleged connections to paramilitary groups. He was living in Lafayette, Louisiana. His name is Mahmoud al-Matadi, and according to the criminal complaint filed in U.S. District Court, evidence shows that on the morning of October 7, 2023, al-Matadi learned about the Hamas invasion, armed himself, gathered others, and crossed into Israel with the intention of assisting with Hamas's terrorist attack. That coordinated assault involved rape, torture, kidnapping, and the deaths of 1,200 people. Investigators say al-Matadi's phone used a cell tower located near Kibbutz Kfar Aza, the location of one of the worst massacres in that attack on Israel. The court filing also includes social media photos that investigators say shows al-Matadi wearing the red headband of the National Resistance Brigades, or NRB, a Gaza-based paramilitary group. It also includes a transcript of a phone call in which al-Matadi allegedly tells another man, quote, "If things go the way they should, Syria will take part, Lebanon will take part, and it's going to be a third world war." Sandra, al-Matadi is currently being held in Louisiana at the St. Martin Parish Correctional Center as this case unfolds. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan. John.
All right, let's bring in Trey
Had great ambitions.
America for more on this. Here's what the FBI said in part in a statement. Quote, evidence shows that on the morning of October 7, 2023, al-Muqtadi learned about the Hamas invasion, armed himself, gathered others, and crossed into Israel with the intention of assisting in Hamas's terrorist attack. Evidence further shows that al-Muqtadi provided false information in his U.S. visa application relating to his involvement with the paramilitary organization, connection to Hamas, participation in a terrorist attack, and military training. Now in custody, but you got to wonder, how'd this guy get into the country?
Oh, I don't wonder. He probably came through a pretty porous southern border, or else he lied on a visa. But that's the least of his problems, John. His real problem is the close working relationship between Mossad and the CIA with John Radcliffe and Shin Bet, which is the Israeli law enforcement, and our FBI and Kash Patel. And I'll just tell anyone involved in the Hamas attack on October the 7th, you need to sleep with one eye open at least as long as Radcliffe is at the CIA and Patel is at the FBI. It's been over 2 years. They just found him. They're not going to stop looking. Just like we didn't stop looking after 9/11, Israel and the U.S. are not going to stop looking for you. And if you had anything to do with that barbaric attack, they're going to find you. Am I surprised it's Lafayette, Louisiana? I am. Home of Jeff Landry, speaking of former prosecutors. But Kash and John, both former U.S. attorneys, they're not going to stop until everyone that's involved is brought to justice.
Or as some say locally, Lafayette, Louisiana. Governor Jeff Landry, by the way, Trey just posted this on his Twitter account. Justice will be served. Perhaps this is Louisiana lockup's newest resident. Perhaps that's the case. Look at your reaction.
You know, Louisiana is beautiful. I would probably rather be there than sent back to Israel. But that's always an option. Send them back to the country that they victimized. Look, like I said, his visa issues are the least of his problems. He's either going to, there's some not so nice prisons in Louisiana. His future is looking very bleak. But that's also true for anyone that has not also been apprehended. Radcliffe and Patel are going to work with their Israeli counterparts as long as they're in office, period, full stop. If you're involved in the October 7th attack, sleep with one eye open.
Yeah, in announcing these arrests, here's what the Attorney General Pam Bondi said, quote, after hiding out in the United States, this monster has been found and charged with participating in the atrocities of October 7th, the single deadliest day for Jewish people since the Holocaust.
Wow.
While nothing can fully heal the scars left by Hamas's brutal attack,
someone here.
this department's Joint Task Force, October 7, is dedicated to finding and prosecuting those responsible for that horrific day, including the murder of dozens of American citizens. I mean, this task force is going to continue. Maybe this is just the first person to be unearthed.
I hope so. And Pam, excuse me, A.G. Bonnie raises a really good point. It was not just Israelis that were victimized on that day. There were people from all over the world, including the United States, that were, I mean, children beheaded, women raped. I mean, it was equivalent to our 9/11. We spent 20 years finding out who was responsible for that. Israel is going to spend at least that long.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno.
wild.
Catch me and my co-hosts
That
Harris
is
Faulkner
wild.
and Kaylee McEnany.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, just make an extradite him. Oh, here's a local news here. Okay, let me warn you guys. It might make you hungry. Okay, the train of truth is here. Super loud too. Yeah, likes to make an appearance. All right, let's go ahead and check this story out. It's out of New Haven, Connecticut, and it's about pizza.
Connecticut's pizza marketing looks like it's kind of paying off. A recent list is putting New Haven as a top 10 travel destination.
Finally, New Haven is getting its due. Matt McFarland is your reporter covering New Haven County. He is live.
I could take you guys to this area and film.
Yeah, hi there, Stephanie and
I
Brian.
should
For
do my
many
own
families, Friday
little
night
news.
is pizza night down here on Worcester Street. It's always pizza night. Plenty of places where folks can grab a slice. And word is getting out now, apparently across the country, about the Elm City. It's gotta be good. From the airport and straight to Pepe's, in line before the doors even open. For Chris Lattin and his family, their trip from North Carolina to New Haven.
I ate there before. I didn't have to wait
filling up
online.
on one thing. The pizza. That's right. Here to hit up some of the Elm City's iconic pizza joints.
It was a cheap flight from Wilmington, so we thought we'd just spend the weekend here. And, we watched TikTok and we saw Dave Portnoy, and he gave it a really high score, and I'm hungry.
And apparently they're not alone. Skyscanner, a global travel search engine, lists New Haven as a top 10 trending global destination for U.S. travelers. It's all based on analyzing thousands of flight searches
I
this
came
year,
through the
in which
border.
New Haven saw a 39% increase, putting the Elm City alongside places in India, Greece, and Costa Rica.
People that have lived in New Haven for a long time know that the city is
I
an
could
awesome
take
place.
you out to New Haven and
It's a
show y'all.
Great thing that so many other places.
It's
are
not a great
recognizing,
place.
Other people are recognizing that
It's okay.
It's a wonderful place to visit.
It follows Connecticut's
Not
push to
great.
brand itself as the pizza capital
It's
of the
crazy.
U.S. From signs on the state border with New York, billboards in New York City, and even launching a pizza trail. And just last month, New Haven took its spot in the Guinness Book of World Records by hosting the largest pizza party.
We have a lot of other great assets.
I wasn't
The
invited to
culture,
that
the
fucking
arts,
party. Where's my
university.
invitation?
This is an exciting moment where we get a little bit of acknowledgement, and it's
I like pizza.
building off of 52 places, best places to visit in the world. New York Times.
This is the mayor
A
of
couple
New
years
Haven.
ago, last year, Cosmo gave us some acknowledgement there too.
He reminds me of
Stop
Doug.
number one for this family, it's
The
just the
cartoon.
start.
We're looking online and seeing what we can get into, We got like 3 days to figure something out, so we don't even have a hotel, so we're trying to figure out where we're going to even stay.
It's
tonight.
not a problem. You can find a hotel here, dude.
Hey, it's all about priorities. Get that pizza
You-
first,
you-
worry
your
about the
pizza-
rest later. Now to see
You
the
can get a
complete
pizza
list and
and take it
who
to your
New Haven
hotel
is
room.
keeping company with,
I
we
can
got a
even
link
direct you
on
to
the
where
WSB app.
the
You're reporting
hotel.
live in New Haven, Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
What a great
Just
idea.
a-
Jump on a plane, get a pizza,
Let's do it.
find a hill
I'm
garden
game.
inn somewhere. Not bad. Matt, thank
Yeah, but that pizza, okay. Here's Rick's review. Listen, that guy, he didn't know a hotel or whatever. There's 2 hotels right by the fucking, if you go to IKEA, towards IKEA, there's 2 hotels there. There's a Holiday Inn, and there's another new hotel that's right on the property with IKEA, and they're always available. Don't worry about the fucking hotel. Get your motherfucking pizza. Enjoy it. It's good pizza, but you got to eat it there. If you take it home, and by the time you get home, that shit's hard as a rock, and you can't fucking really enjoy it because it's like really fucking hard. You got to eat it there. That's why there's lines. It's because people are gonna eat it there. But I ate at Pepe's before, and I've eaten a lot of those restaurants before it got popular, before it started trending. I'm like, bitch, I've been there so many times when I was like here as like 10 years ago. It was like, and now it's trending. Okay, whatever. Let's see what else we got as far as news. I don't even know what this is all about. It's about Connecticut again. Here we go. Connecticut. You're on fire tonight. Let's see what's up.
Well, have you ever needed a second chance? Now, after years of waiting, nearly 100,000 people in the state are getting that chance.
News 8 investigative reporter Jeff Dedarian joins us with that story. Jeff.
Hey there, guys. Yeah, this has been a long time coming for a lot of people in our state. If you have a criminal record because you once smoked marijuana once at a concert and got arrested, it'll now be like it never happened. Here's how.
What?
Kai Jackson says it just followed him, like a lost dog, that marijuana conviction from about 12 years ago.
I would go to jobs and fill out applications, and then it would come back that, hey, you got some stuff on your record that doesn't look.
You smoke weed. I'm smoking right now.
It's about time the state finally started wiping out low-level marijuana convictions, even though the law to do it passed several years ago. With a clean record, he now works at Yale New Haven Hospital, something.
That's actually a good job. He worked at Yale New Haven Hospital. So congratulations, gentlemen. But let's bring it back to me, and let's bring back my medicine that I have here in front of me. They're there expunging their records. Smells good. I'm sorry for rubbing it in your face, but thank God it's Friday, bitches. I'm so evil, right? I'm happy 100,000 people are getting their records expunged. Like, it's getting wiped off their records. So it kind of like makes it look better for jobs and so forth. If they want to get better jobs, they won't have that on their record, so they won't look so bad. Because the time is over. I'm fucking smoking. I have my license, and I live in Connecticut. And look, I'm gonna light up right now. In celebration of 100,000 people being wiped off the record books for a stupid crime that, look, I'm smoking it right now. Oh yeah, that was a good hit too. Okay, let's continue on with the story. All right, let's watch.
Before this program would have only been a dream that went up in smoke. The erasure program ran into significant delays, the state admits. As of today, 92,000 people have no more records. The number will go well above 100,000 when all eligible files are scrubbed by the end of October, early November.
Everything's fixed now from an IT point of view. The bugs are out. Everything works.
Well, it's working now. I mean, this is a process where for the last 6 to 8 months, they've been testing and retesting.
The state explains why this took so long, saying different federal and state computer systems talking to one another was an IT nightmare. Also, sifting through electronic and paper convictions. They also tell News 8 work was also needed to make sure that the correct conviction was actually getting wiped. But for guys like Kai Jackson, the wait was brutal. He says it shouldn't have taken this long.
Well, that was very frustrating.
At Lit New Haven, a dispensary, the owner has been fighting tirelessly to get these charges cleared for people. Keeber Smith Bolden says when pot was made legal in Connecticut, that was part of the deal from the state to be proactive on this.
And unfair, unjust drug laws were written that created difficulties for people to live, to establish their lives.
So what do you do if you went to a concert once and got arrested for smoking some marijuana?
If you have a simple, low-level...
Damn, don't watch my show.
Marijuana conviction, it will come up as eligible.
I smoke every day.
All right, keep in mind, this is for low-level marijuana crimes. As he just said, if you get stopped on, say, 91 with 4 pounds of marijuana in your trunk, you're out of luck on this one. There is no...
Yeah, I mean, 4 pounds. What the fuck?
Studio tonight, Jeff Dedarian, News 8.
Can you pass by my house with that fucking 4 pounds? What the fuck? Sharing is caring. 4 pounds? Are you kidding me? 4 pounds? I don't even think I smoke a pound a year. I don't even know how much I smoke. I could estimate if I do the calculations. Yeah, I could definitely do the calculations. But I smoke on my show, and I've been doing this for years. Oh, Lord. I even have a video of me going to the dispensary from a long time ago. Damn, that's wild. And now is when they want to clean their records. 2025. They waited a long time to do that. That's crazy. That's really crazy. All right, let's see what we got. We got one more news and then 2 De La Cruz, maybe 3 if we can make it to 10:15. We'll see. Let's see what happened here.
All right, everyone. We do want to show you a live look right now. West Palm Beach, Florida. We do have President Trump, Air Force One, just landing. And boy, President Trump broke some news while he was aboard Air Force One. I want to show this to you because it has to do with the incarcerated former Representative George Santos. We are learning now, President Trump putting this out on Truth Social, that he has freed George Santos from federal prison. Take a look at this Truth Social saying George Santos was somewhat of a rogue, but there are many rogues throughout our country that aren't forced to serve 7 years in prison. I started to think about George when the subject of Democrat Senator Richard Da-Nang Dick Blumenthal came up again. As everyone remembers, Da-Nang stated for almost 20 years that he was a proud Vietnam veteran, having endured the worst of the war, watching the wounded and dead as he raced up the hills and down the valleys, blood streaming from his face. He was a great hero. He would leak to all, and all would listen. And then it happened. He was a complete and total fraud. He never went to Vietnam. He never saw Vietnam. He never experienced the battles there or anywhere else. His war hero status and even minimal service in our military was totally and completely made up. This is far worse than what George Santos did, and at least Santos had the courage, conviction, and intelligence to always vote Republican. George has been in solitary confinement for long stretches of time and by all accounts has been horribly mistreated. Therefore, I just signed a commutation releasing George Santos from prison immediately. Good luck, George, and have a great life. It ended there. So I just want to give you a little breakdown of George Santos. And he was sentenced to 87 months in prison. That was more than 7 years back on April 25th of this year after pleading guilty to federal fraud charges. He reported to the Federal Correctional Institution in New Jersey back on July 25th, 2025, to begin his sentence. And then just months later, getting the news now that President Trump has freed him. And wow, what a moment here on this Friday of Live Now from Fox. Again, this is a video that we had here in our system. But again, President Trump commutes George Santos' prison sentence, releasing him from over 7 years that he would have to serve. Reported on July 25th of this year after he was sentenced back of this year, being guilty to criminal fraud charges. Is the big news here of this afternoon. Air Force One. We will see President Trump get down the steps in just moments, and we'll see if he speaks to the media after this big news story in this away from get down the steps of Air Force One in West Palm Beach and then heading over to Mar-a-Lago. We will take a 2-minute break on Live Now from Fox. We will be keeping an eye on the movements there in Florida for the president on this busy news Friday afternoon. We'll be back with.
Yeah, very busy news on Fridays. Yeah, I got a lot. I got some add-ons I put on here because there's a couple of them I wanted to see. So, let me set them up for us, and then we'll watch together. And just gotta make this a little bit big here. Got a couple of videos. I always gotta set them up. In YouTube, I don't like the new setup on YouTube. It's like more slower, and it's like it seems like I don't know. I'm not a fan of the changes. I don't like when they change shit. I mean, the StreamYard is okay. It's just I don't know if it's just me. I don't know what's the deal, but I always have difficulties with them, and I'm not the only one that have the difficulties with this shit. Because I feel everything's like more slower with Discord, and it's like I don't know, something's just not right. Let's see. Okay. Well, we're going to watch. Let's watch this one first. And then we're going to end the show after a few more. Because I want to see if Tyson has another video coming out or not. So let's check this one out.
A second man involved in a mysterious shootout in a quiet Royal Palm Beach neighborhood has died overnight. Good evening. I'm Felicia Rodriguez.
And I'm Shane Wright. Thank you so much for joining us here at 5. The other man was found dead in his truck at the scene there Tuesday night.
Investigative reporter Terry Parker has learned both men's identities. She joins us from the scene. Terry.
Officials tell me that both men were longtime employees of Palm Beach County. They say the aggressor in the shootout was lying here in wait near the home of the victim.
63-year-old John Myers was an assistant superintendent in the Palm Beach County Public Works Department, working for the county since 1984, at one time overseeing the Bridge Department. Tuesday, deputies found him and another Bridge Department employee both shot inside of their vehicles.
Oh, hell
This is
no.
a ring video of Myers arriving home Tuesday. You can see him parking on the swale in front of his house. A few houses away, a white truck is idling in wait. As soon as Myers parks, the truck pulls out and up to Myers' car. The sheriff's office says in that truck was 65-year-old Randy Parnell, who was a Palm Beach County bridge tender and had worked for the county since 2015. The sheriff's office says Parnell was lying in wait for Myers, pulled up to his car and started shooting. The sound of the bullets captured on Ring camera.
Oh my God.
Myers returned fire and then fell out of his car wounded, a neighbor rushing to his aid. Deputies found Parnell dead of a gunshot in his truck. They don't know if Myers killed him or if he killed himself. Myers died of his injuries last night.
And detectives don't know the motive for the shooting. I spoke briefly to Parnell's brother, who declined to comment, and also the grieving family here at Myers' home also does not want to say anything. Terry Parker, WPBF 25 News.
What the fuck did I just watch? That shit was creepy. What? I'm sorry about that. That was wild. That was wild. All right, let's keep it moving. Holy shit, man. Thank God it's Friday. Let's keep on with the news.
Information on the shooting death of a 16-year-old girl in North Philadelphia. Charges have been filed in the case. An 18-year-old has been arrested.
The victim's family continues to grieve, and sadly, this is the second time they are dealing with a tragic loss.
Action News reporter Cheyenne Corin is live at a police headquarters. Cheyenne, you talked to the uncle of the teenager who was killed.
Sarah, I did, and he is just devastated by the loss of his niece. He says that London was an honor roll student who wanted to be a nurse, but now none of those dreams will happen because she was shot and killed earlier this week. But tonight, the family has a message to the community about senseless gun violence.
It's been very unreal. We can't even process what happened.
The family of London Major are trying to grapple with the fact her life was cut so short. The 16-year-old was shot and killed in North Philadelphia on Tuesday.
People started calling and saying that it was her. And so I just dropped the phone.
Police say London was inside a home on the 2400 block of North Colorado Street when the shooting happened. Investigators say she was found in a second-floor bedroom with a gunshot wound to the stomach. Authorities believed the shooting was accidental. The day after, 18-year-old Anas Bey from Greenbelt, Maryland, was charged with third-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and other related charges for her death.
We're trying to grapple with the intent, right? If there was intent or not, you know, why was there a weapon in the home with kids there?
The family says they are not familiar with the home where the shooting happened or the suspect. London was an 11th grade student at Tech Ferrer Charter High School who loved to spend time with family, travel, cook, and paint.
At that time, we were looking at SATs and all of that, and so we just got mail yesterday that we opened that looked at school choices.
This is now the second child London's mother has lost to gun violence. Her brother Nafis also was shot and killed in North Philadelphia in 2023. He too was only 16 years old.
Here we are again 2 years later. And so this feels just a very tragedy that happened in our community. But we want to send a message that gun violence and young people playing with guns, it should not happen.
And the uncle you just heard from, he actually works in the community as a youth advocate against gun violence. The family tells me that they plan to establish a foundation against this very issue in London's honor. Live at police headquarters, Cheyenne Corin, Channel 6, Action News. Sarah.
Wow, that's crazy. That's wild. Sorry about this. Thank God it's Friday. For the ones rewatching, thank you for rewatching and come on here and spending time with me. I appreciate that. Just keep it moving. This 12-year-old girl keeps coming on my feed. She is really strong energy. My goodness. Okay, let's watch.
Since Jacqueline Torres was found October 8th, the community has remembered her in a number of ways. Right now, they are taking to the streets. Our Preston Sober is live there with more. Preston.
See,
Yeah, Darren, mostly Jeep drivers here in New Britain remembering 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres, who was known as Mimi. At any moment now, these Jeep drivers and some other vehicles as well will be taking to the streets with different signs, with different shirts. We're told that the ride is going to start right around 5 o'clock, so any minute. We talked to some organizers who said that the turnout out here is bigger than they ever imagined. They thought there may be around 20 to 30 cars, and as you can tell, there is plenty more than that. The route is being changed due to how many vehicles are actually coming out to remember Mimi.
It's Friday.
They will just take one big square around.
That's why it's hard for me to even go over there now.
Cars should be taking off at any minute right outside of this area. We talked with the organizers of this event.
This went viral. This is now everywhere. We're expecting people from New Jersey, Boston, Mass, and really we are as a community, we decide to do this because, like he said, we got kids, grandkids, plus I live in this community for more than 20 years. Plus I know Mimi's family.
Oh Lord.
And as this event kicks off, we've seen hugs. We've seen community members talking with organizers, planning, talking with community members. We will update you with more at 6 o'clock from this event that so many of the community members have come out to show their support to young Mimi. Live in New Britain, Preston Stober, News 8.
That's crazy, man. That little girl suffered so much. So much. Let me see. Yeah, delivery. We get to vote which one you want to see next. Okay. They gave us 3 options here. One from 2 days ago, one 3 hours ago, and one 4 hours ago. One is a delivery driver shot, killed in Milwaukee. The second one is the memorial ride is held in New Britain to remember Jacqueline Torres Gonzalez. Garcia. The third one is body parts found in trash bag dumped outside an apartment building in Brooklyn. Oh man, these two are very tied. You know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna give this to the second place. Let's take a look at here.
They brought me a little push to give my prayers. That it took this for, a community to get together. But that's so you know that the community is there when you most need them.
Yeah, when they're dead.
And may she rest in peace.
And that is what we're seeing today, the community coming together to remember and honor 11-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia. Thank you so much for joining us on the Fox 61 News at 5. I'm Annette Montgomery. Jacqueline's remains were found at an abandoned home in New Britain. Now dozens of balloons, candles, and stuffed animals mark the spot, and it has been transformed into a growing tribute for the young girl. And right now, a memorial ride is taking place in her honor. Fox 61's Valerie Moravi joins us live. Valerie.
That's right, Annette. Well, this is a very emotional moment for the family of little Jacqueline Torres Garcia. I mean, we tried to talk to her just moments ago, but they kindly told me they're not ready to talk on camera right now, but they're feeling it, and they feel like they're grateful for the community. And again, the Hispanic community has come together to honor little Jacqueline with different little things, and especially this that really caught my attention. One of the members of the community, she actually made this stuffed animal saying "Forever 12, Little Mimi," and she told me her daughter is also.
But she died when she was 11
as well. So it's really touching and really tough for them to look away when there's this moment so special, and that's the reason why they wanted to come here and support the family, even if they don't know Little Mimi or the family directly. And as you can see right behind me, there's more than 25 Jeeps lining up right now, all decorated with flowers, balloons.
I know where that place is at.
Messages. One of the messages say "Justicia para Mimi,"
right
justice for Mimi, and that's what they're doing. We have different communities coming from across Connecticut. We have people from Middletown, Waterbury, New Haven,
and in the corner
Hartford,
is
West Hartford. We have the Jeep community here as well.
Oil
and
change.
They tell me there's not a special or direct connection with any Jeep, but hey, the Jeep community wanted to step in, and also told me the New Britain police will be here any moment to escort them all the way to the vigil, to the memorial site on 80 Clark Street. So they'll be walking and driving down the road any moment now, and take a moment of silence and, prayer. And it's just a moment to really support each other while they also light candles. And again, they're here for the community, but especially for 11-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia. So they'll be leaving any moment. I think we see them driving away right now. I spoke to several other people, so we'll have more on that coming up later. For now, live in New Britain, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
All right, let's keep it moving, see what this is about here. Oh yeah, this is the bodies. I guess they found body parts.
With breaking news and a disturbing discovery in Brooklyn, a man's head and torso were found in a garbage bag, tossed in the trash outside of an apartment building.
What?
News reporter Jamie Roth live in
a head and a torso.
Jamie.
Oh my God!
Right, we're on East 21st Street, and let me just take you here to the scene.
What is wrong with people?
We have police still here. They've roped off this trash collection area behind the green fence, and
man.
they're still trying to collect some evidence. Earlier today, the whole street was roped off. Police say they found a very grim discovery here, an unidentified man. Body parts of that man found in a garbage bag. Apparently the man's head and torso were found in the garbage bag, which had in turn been thrown in the trash in front of the building on East 21st Street. Police are awaiting the results of the medical examiner's investigation. The medical examiner will determine the cause of death. There are also investigators still working around the neighborhood trying to gather clues, and people in the area are understandably concerned.
It's sad though, it happened in the community that older people work here, go here for dialysis and stuff. I think it should get better, and that should never happen on a block like this. A lot of cameras is out, kids be here, you know, school let out, it'd be packed with kids every day.
So a lot of concern locally, and of course, more information to come. The investigation is still in its earliest stages. We're live in Flatbush. Jamie Roth, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, let's keep it moving. We got like a couple of more stories here. Give me 1 second. Okay, I don't know why did I get that for. Do I want to watch it? Not really. No, I want to wrap up the show, but I do have an add-on, and it's because of what's going to be happening tomorrow. So with that said, let's watch this.
You're watching Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. The name of our game here at Live Now is to bring you live events as they take place in real time. Tomorrow, we're expecting a lot of protests across the nation. They're called No Kings protests. Aisha Hasni with the details.
You got Caroline Levitt, who's sick. She's out of control.
Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries trashing White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt today for claiming the Democratic Party is made up of, quote, Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals.
I'm not sure whether she's just demented, ignorant, a stone cold liar, or all of the above.
Levitt firing back, telling Fox Digital Hakeem Jeffries is an America Last stone cold loser. Tensions are through the roof in Washington as Democrats continue blocking Republican efforts to reopen the government.
This is politics.
Tomorrow, Democrats plan to attend No Kings rallies across the country.
Democrats.
Republicans call un-American.
We refer to it by its more accurate description, the Hate America rally.
Progressive Senator Bernie Sanders will headline the protests in Washington.
Wow.
The protest is what America is about. You are not going to stop us.
Republicans claim
What
the
is
day
going
of
on
protest is
here?
why Democrats haven't cut a deal yet.
Mr. President, do you think that the government shutdown is all about this rally that's happening?
I
this
would
weekend,
charge him with
the Kings
treason.
rally?
No, I mean, some people say they want to delay it for that. A king. This is
more
not a
than
king. You know, they're referring to me as a king. I'm not a king.
Right. No, but just so that Chuck Schumer could go and say, I'm fighting
Yeah,
Trump.
well, Chuck is, you know, at the end of the line. He's being beaten by everybody that they poll against him.
And despite calls from Democrats for protesters to remain peaceful over the weekend, Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin are both readying their state's National Guard troops to respond to the No Kings rallies in their states if that's needed. In Washington, I'm Aisha Hasni, Fox News.
As you know, we work very closely with all of our sister Fox stations across the country. That includes stations in Philadelphia, Atlanta, Austin, and San Francisco. Those four cities putting together pieces previewing the No Kings protests that are expected in their regions tomorrow. Let's go from east to west. Let's start with Fox.
Oh, shit.
The gates are going up and the bicyclists start picking up their packets along Aikens Oval. Tomorrow, thousands will pedal their way through the closed streets of the city for the 4th annual Philly No Car Bike Ride.
Philly Bike Ride is actually Philly's largest car-free social bike ride that is really meant for all ages and all ability levels.
Matt Altia is one of more than 6,000 bikers who registered for the event. The ride starts at the Art Museum at 7:30. The 20-mile route that weaves its way through the city is closed to vehicular traffic.
Oh, sorry about no audio. It's not my fault.
I smacked right into the back of it. Got like knocked out for like 10 minutes.
It's a fun ride, no traffic, easy going. I'm a kind of beginning rider, so it was a lot of fun for me.
But just as one event is ending, another one will start just down the parkway. The No Kings 2.0 March is scheduled for 12:30. Back in June, nearly 100,000 people packed the parkway for a similar event that protests the policies
This is what
of President Donald
unemployed
Trump.
people look
The march
like.
starts at City Hall and ends with a rally at Independence Mall.
Well,
Organizers say they don't expect the crowds like last time, since it's one of nearly 2,600 events nationwide.
Coming together in the thousands, in the millions, we are showing our representatives and the people whom we have elected what we expect and what we want.
Why are they so? What do they want? What do you want?
Philadelphia. Let's head to Fox 5 Atlanta.
What do they
want? Tomorrow's coverage.
This is the second time we've seen these No Kings demonstrations, and organizers say
stupid.
they're expecting an even bigger crowd than we saw back in June. Law enforcement tells
Oh,
us
Lord.
they're prepared to handle the influx of people. 4 months ago, thousands of protesters took to streets all across Metro Atlanta as part of the first No Kings Day. People from all walks of life came together then, protesting against the Trump administration.
My 89th birthday, and I believe in democracy for all. And so I had to come, and I may not have much more time here on earth, but today I can do it, and I want to protest what's going on in our government.
Now another round is
Oh,
planned
Lord.
from Peachtree
To
City
her
to
dying
Calhoun
days.
and Carrollton to Athens. Some organizers say they're focusing on
Yeah, people
family
die
fun this
stupid,
time.
too.
In Floyd County, they're encouraging demonstrators to wear costumes, blow bubbles, and pass out candy. In Cobb County, organizers say they're planning an inclusive, safe, and fun time while still focusing on the same mission we saw in June.
Well, as a Marine, I signed up to protect our Constitution.
Advocating on behalf
Oh,
of our
Lord.
immigrant community.
The city of Atlanta is also making it clear they're
Wow.
working with the No Kings March and permits have been issued. A statement from the city reads, "Any claim that the city of Atlanta has not or does not support this event is false, and the city has been working closely with the organizers to review and approve the necessary permits and ensure a safe and successful event." Atlanta police also say they'll be actively monitoring. And of course, these demonstrations are planned throughout the metro area, each of them scheduled at different locations and different times. We do know the one in Atlanta is scheduled from 10 o'clock till 1 o'clock at the Atlanta Civic Center. And of course, we'll have you covered on Fox Local all throughout the day. Reporting from the Fox 5 News Desk, I'm Lindsay Tuman for Fox 5 News.
Okay, Fox 5 Atlanta bringing us their preview coverage. Fox 7 in Austin, Texas, doing the same thing.
Oh boy.
Mayor Kirk Watson said in a statement that the troopers won't be on the streets unless there's an emergency matter. On Thursday, Governor Greg Abbott stated in a statement that he deployed all necessary law enforcement officials and resources to ensure the safety of Austin residents ahead of the planned No Kings protest this weekend. The No Kings protest will be taking place across the country to speak out against the Trump administration's mass deportation push and the president's threatening to overtake elections, gutting health care, environmental protections, and education. That's according to the organizers' website.
Our department has been very accommodating to make sure that we help people express their First Amendment rights in a peaceful manner so that way they can exercise their rights. However, That does not include criminal behavior.
DPS says its Homeland Security Division is monitoring the planned protests, investigating any possible terror links, and promising to swiftly charge anyone who breaks the law. Austin police also say they're prepared for Saturday, warning that illegal activity won't be tolerated. The protests will be at the Capitol. Mayor Kirk Watson and Governor Greg Abbott haven't responded yet to see if any troops will be stationed at the Capitol ahead of the protest. Reporting in the state capitol, I'm Jessica Rivera, Fox 7 Austin News.
Finally, let's head to San Francisco with KTVU Fox 2's previewing coverage.
And we're getting everybody tonight.
In San Francisco's Civic Center Plaza, adjacent to City Hall, preparations for the No Kings protest set for Saturday are already in place, including a stage and barricades. Organizers say it's part of a nationwide network of protests against the Trump administration.
So we're talking millions of people on the streets and tens of thousands here on the streets in the Bay Area. These are going to be fully peaceful protests. We're all here to raise our voices.
I don't know how their brains
to show our
work.
discontent with the administration.
Why are they
to do
so
peacefully.
far left?
No Kings protest in June in response to President Trump's military parade and birthday celebration.
Oh, the rainbow
Tens of
flags. No
thousands
wonder.
Here in the Bay Area, and organizers estimate about 3 million across the country. The demonstration is expected to get underway at around 2 p.m. and will likely see roads around San Francisco blocked as protesters wind their way through the streets. San Francisco police say there were no arrests made as a direct result of the June protest, but they are staffing for this weekend and preparing for anything.
The SFPD honors everyone's right to protest, and we will facilitate peaceful demonstrations, but we will hold who break the law accountable. We've been in contact with the event organizers, and we will work to ensure everyone is safe.
No Kings protest comes amidst threats by the Trump administration to bring National Guard troops into Cisco. Law enforcement leaders said there is no need for National Guard troops in the city, and Mayor Daniel Lurie has said the city has already worked hard and seen a significant reduction in crime across the board. The mayor said law enforcement will be fully staffed, including a
There's
platoon
going to be a
of
rave party
officers,
tomorrow.
all on hand to facilitate free speech this
We're going to have
weekend.
a nationwide
Said
rave
the
party.
city won't tolerate destruction of property or any violence. When it comes to major events, he said the city is already working collaboratively with law enforcement partners.
We are working closely with the appropriate state
Who's paying for
and
this shit?
federal enforcement agencies.
That's my question.
Keep our city safe, and that coordinate is delivering results.
I guess
Fox 2 San Francisco bringing us that
paying for
coverage.
this shit.
We wanted to bring you all of the preview pieces that we could find from our sister stations.
Wow, it
across
looks
the
so
country.
beautiful.
Again, we will do our best to track them in real time and bring them
All right.
to you and
Well,
bring those in cities across the United States.
all right. Well, I'll definitely try to be a part of that and try to come on here. I just got a busy day tomorrow, so I don't know what time I'm gonna come for this bullshit. But I got shit to do. I got a life. I don't be out there trying to protest for shit. For what? It's wasting time. That's what it is. It's a waste of time, waste of energy. They could have processed that energy in a different way, and they could have bettered themselves. But that's what we got to deal with tomorrow, and I think it's stupid. You know what I mean? So let's see. Here it is. So we got back-to-back and a possible back-to-back-to-back. Let me check. See if there's an upload yet. Let's see if we got anything else up on here. Nothing yet. I have a feeling something's coming. All right. Let's go ahead and get these two in, and then we'll call it a night if nothing gets uploaded. So, what's this one? Okay, well, let's go with this one first. All right, here we go. Tyson de la Cruz.
Our message to the cartels and these criminal rings, we're not backing down.
America, the Trump administration just executed the most aggressive diplomatic strike against Mexico in modern history. Over 70 Mexican politicians, including governors, mayors, and ruling party officials, have had their U.S. visas revoked for suspected cartel connections, while Mexican cartels are now offering up to $50,000 bounties for attacks on American federal agents. But here's what's going to blow your mind about this story. A sitting Mexican senator went on Fox and confirmed what we suspected all along. Mexico is officially a narco state where 70% of the country is governed by cartels, and President Claudia Sheinbaum is so compromised that she's calling this senator a traitor for telling the truth to Americans. What is up, guys? Tyson de la Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story connects three massive developments that prove Mexico's government is completely compromised by drug cartels, and President Trump is using every diplomatic weapon available to protect American lives. This isn't just immigration policy. This is warfare against a narco state. Let me break down the scope of what just happened, because the mainstream media might try to bury some of the details of this. According to an exclusive report, the U.S. government has systematically revoked visas from more than 50 politicians from Mexico's ruling Moreno party, plus dozens more from another party.
And the Trump administration also working to cap the influence of Mexican cartels in the U.S. But critics say this is pushing the limits, something they're doing now. A Reuters investigation reportedly found the government has revoked the visas of more than 50 Mexican officials and their suspected political allies.
We're talking about Marina del Parra Alvala, the governor of Baja California, a border state. We're talking about mayors and other political positions. These aren't low-level bureaucrats. These are governors, mayors who control territory right on our southern border.
The governor of Baja California, Mexico, was one official who spoke out in May, saying her visa had been revoked and denying any links to cartels.
A senior State Department official said these revocations are for activities that run contrary to American national interest, including drug trafficking, corruption, and aiding illegal immigration. But here's the brilliant part. They didn't need court convictions to revoke visas. The intelligence threshold is much lower.
Actually, I don't think they're doing enough. The reason I say that is just last week, one of the deputies for the ruling Morena party actually came out and stated that 70% of the country in Mexico is actually governed, not controlled by territory, but governed by the Mexican cartels.
A border security expert, Amon Blair, dropped this bombshell. Just last week, one of the deputies from the ruling Morena party actually came out and stated that 70% of the country of Mexico is actually governed, not controlled by territory, but governed by Mexican cartels. Now, let me explain how we got to this point, because Blair laid out the progression perfectly. He said before, Mexican cartels used to just finance elected officials. Then they assisted them. Then they actually got them elected. Now they are the ruling party.
Before, the Mexican cartels used to just finance elected officials. Then they assisted them, and then they actually got them elected. Now they are the ruling party. And that was confirmed by an actual deputy by the Morena party, as well as our research.
Think about that progression. Finance to assist, assist to elect, become the ruling party. This isn't corruption anymore. This is a complete takeover of Mexican government by criminal organizations.
Look, there's a complete symbiotic relationship between the Mexican cartels and elected officials. So really, just revoking these visas, in all honesty, is not enough.
He wants to see that same sanctions we used against cartels applied to these corrupt politicians.
There was just a good investigation in New Jersey in regards to 12 Mexican companies that were sanctioned, that were working hand in hand with the Sinaloa cartel inside the United States. These same actions need to be done to the elected officials in Mexico.
Now, here's where the story gets absolutely more terrifying and has escalated since the last time that I reported on this. While Trump is banning corrupt Mexican officials from American soil, those same official cartel partners are putting bounties on American federal agents.
This morning, tensions running high in multiple areas around President Trump's immigration crackdown.
Overnight, Los Angeles County declaring a state of emergency in response to ICE raids.
This has definitely escalated. The Department of Homeland Security just announced that Mexican drug cartels are offering cash bounties to target ICE agents and other federal agents. We're talking about $5,000 to $10,000 for kidnapping or assault on officers, and now up to $50,000 for assassination of high-ranking officials.
The Department of Homeland Security says Mexican drug cartels have put a bounty on ICE and Border Protection officers in Chicago. The department says the cartels are offering thousands of dollars for those who gather information on federal officials and their families, and even more money for kidnapping or assassinating high-ranking officials.
Think about this logically. Cartels are now offering $50,000 to assassinate American federal agents, while their politician partners in Mexico government are getting their visas revoked for corruption. This is not a coincidence. It is a coordinated warfare against American law enforcement.
While in Chicago, clashes on the streets getting heated. Homeland Security says federal officers faced a hostile crowd after an undocumented immigrant rammed a Border Patrol vehicle while trying to flee an immigration operation.
The crowd threw objects at federal agents, and then they had to deploy tear gas. 13 Chicago police officers were exposed to that gas.
But the dramatic confrontations come as Homeland Security officials are warning Mexican drug cartels are now offering cash bounties to target ICE officers and other federal agents, including $5,000 to $10,000 for kidnapping or assaulting officers, and up to $50,000 for the assassination of high-ranking officials.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said, "Our message to cartels in these criminal rings, we're not backing down. But the fact that the cartels feel confident enough to put bounties on American federal agents tells you everything about how compromised the Mexican government really is." Now, I reported on this about a month ago, but it's relevant to this particular topic because it brings everything full circle. Do you remember that brave Mexican senator, Lily Tellez, that went on Fox and dropped bombshells that had the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, calling her a traitor?
The president of Mexico is furious. She's calling Mexican Senator Lily Tellez a traitor for coming on Fox Noticias with me a few days ago and saying this. Listen.
The help from the United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome.
Just to recap, President Sheinbaum is furious that Tellez said that the help from the United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome. And that is how the majority of Mexicans feel. The only ones who don't like that President Trump is sending help is the narco politicians. That includes President Claudia Sheinbaum. When asked directly if Mexico is a narco state, Senator Lily Tellez didn't hesitate.
Is Mexico a narco state?
Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels that have infested our nation.
Senator Tellez explained how these alliances work. The cartels have given so much money to these narco politicians in Moreno to get into office and to get into power. So they protect, the Mexican government protects the cartels. Tellez warned that Mexico is on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She's referring to Claudia Sheinbaum here.
We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She is aligned with Venezuela's dictator, with Cuba, and we are losing our country. They have destroyed our Republican institutions, the democratic state.
When asked if she fears for her life, Senator Tellez was brutally honest about this.
Are you afraid for your life?
Yes, I am afraid. And the president has threatened me to proceed against me with criminal prosecution, to get me out of the Senate and get me in jail just because I told you in this space and Fox News what is the reality of our country with the cartels.
President Claudia Sheinbaum's response tells you everything you need to know about where her loyalty lies. She said it's not a minor issue that Senator gave an interview to a foreign media outlet calling for intervention.
I will not step back. And I pray under God's guidance that we, the United States and Mexico, must work together to defeat the cartels and to get freedom for our country, for Mexico, to stop it from being the next Venezuela.
Think about that response. A Mexican senator tells the truth about cartel control in her government, and Sheinbaum's concern isn't about the cartels. It's about the senator talking to American media. That, to be honest, is a response of somebody who's been compromised. But as Senator Tellez pointed out, she is lying to the Mexican people, telling Mexican people that the United States will get in control of the whole country.
She sort of speaks out of two sides of her mouth. We're working with you, Trump, and then she's chastising you for saying, we need more help from the United States to crush the cartels.
Because she really doesn't want the help of the United States.
Tellez exposed the lie, saying she doesn't really want help from the United States. She's lying to the Mexican people. When your own senator is calling you a liar on international television, that tells you everything about the credibility of the Mexican government. Now, let me connect all these dots for you because this is bigger than an individual story. You have over 70 Mexican officials getting their visas revoked for cartel connections. You have cartels putting $50,000 bounties on American federal agents, and you have a sitting Mexican senator confirming that 70% of Mexico is governed by the cartel. This isn't three separate stories. This is one coordinated pattern of narco state at war with American law enforcement. The visa revocations aren't just diplomatic pressure. They're cutting off the travel privileges of people who are literally working with organizations that want to kill American federal agents. When Senator Tellez says President Sheinbaum doesn't want American help against the cartels, and we see cartels putting bounties on American agents, the connection becomes crystal clear. The Mexican government isn't just failing to fight cartels, they are actively protecting them. This is why Trump's approach is so brilliant, in my opinion. You don't negotiate with narco state, you isolate it. You cut off their officials' access to American soil, American banks, American schools for their children. You make corruption costly. America, we're not dealing with a neighboring democracy anymore. We're dealing with a narco state where cartels control 70% of territory and put bounties on American federal agents. When a sitting Mexican senator has to risk her life to tell Americans the truth about her own government, that tells you everything you need to know. The Trump administration's response, revoking visas for over 70 corrupt officials while strengthening security for federal agents facing cartel bounties, is exactly what leadership looks like when you're serious about protecting American lives. I said it before and I'll say it again. Senator Lily Tellez is a hero for speaking truth to power, even when it puts her own life at risk. President Sheinbaum calling her a traitor for telling Americans the truth just proves how compromised she really is. This is what happens when we elect leaders who understand that America's security comes first, not the feelings of corrupt foreign politicians who work with cartels that want to kill our federal agents. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Good upload there. That's awesome. Actually got an upload, so I'll be showing that also after this one. So let's keep it going. It's Friday. I'm happy. At least I got the weekend to try to recover from the torture of the freaking chiropractor and the physical therapy. It's crazy. All right, guys. Here we go.
This is the 7th such discovery in just the past month. Divers pulled the man's body out of the bayou yesterday morning.
America, we need to talk about what's happening in Houston because I'm about to tell you something that's going to make you question everything you think you know about how crime gets reported in this country. 53 bodies have been pulled out of the Houston bayou since 2023. 53! And officials are still saying that there's no serial killer.
What?
Well, the Harris County Medical Examiner is working to determine if foul play was involved in the death of a man found in a bayou. That man's body was found in White Oak Bayou.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly illustrates how officials will manipulate statistics and deny obvious patterns to avoid admitting that they have a crisis that they can't solve. Let me break this down for you because the math is simple. 23 bodies found in the bayous in 2025. 24 24 bodies found in 2024, 9 bodies found in 2023. We're talking about 53 bodies in less than 3 years, all found in the same waterways around Houston.
With so many rumors swirling about the bodies found in the bayous, KHOU 11 Investigates is taking a closer look. Our team went back 3 years and analyzed the cause and manner of death for each body found.
But here's what really gets me. We are just now starting to hear about this pattern. Where was the media coverage when body number 10 was found? Where were the warning signs when body number 20 surfaced? Why are we just learning about this systematic discovery of bodies now? The Harris County Institution of Forensic Science reports a clear escalation pattern. 9 bodies in 2023, 20 in 2024, and 24 so far this year. This isn't just random. This is an acceleration pattern that suggests somebody is getting more confident, more reckless, and more desperate.
In 2023, it examined 9 bodies in Houston bayous, 20 bodies in 2024, and so far this year, 24 bodies.
And here's the most telling statistic from medical examiner analysis. 23 cases are listed as undetermined, meaning they can't establish circumstances of death with reasonable medical certainty. 15 deaths ruled as accidents, with 13 of those being drownings. Only 3 cases ruled as homicides. Think about that for a second. Out of 53 bodies found in the bayous over 3 years, only 3 are officially classified as homicides. Either Houston is the most accident-prone population in America, or somebody is getting very good at making murders look like accidents. Let me tell you about Anthony Curry, because this story represents what's happening to dozens of families in Houston. His sister, Alexis, describes him as a superhero, a father, a son, a brother who was focused on being better for himself and his son.
My brother was like my superhero.
A brother, a son, and a father. Alexis Curry is remembering her late brother, Anthony Curry.
Anthony's death was ruled as an accidental drowning with PCP and ethanol in his system, but his sister's response tells you everything you need to know about the official narrative.
That ain't my brother. He'll come to my house, go to my sister's house, so he'll go somewhere and chill off before he just go jump in some water.
This is a pattern we're seeing in multiple cases. Families knew their loved ones who understand their habits and behaviors are being told that these people just randomly decided to go swimming in Houston's bayous and accidentally drown. Anthony wasn't homeless. He was living with his girlfriend 5 minutes from where his body was found. He was working as a barber and in construction. He had family support, a place to go when he needed help, yet somehow he ended up dead in the bayou, and officials want you to believe that it was just an accident.
And your brother wasn't homeless?
No, he was not.
Alexis tells me her brother was living with his girlfriend about 5 minutes away from where his body was found.
The last time Alexis heard from Houston police about her brother's case was in July. Her brother was found in May, and the last contact from investigators was 2 months later. That's not how you investigate a potential serial killer case. That's how you handle cases you want to go away quietly. Here's what law enforcement doesn't want to admit. These aren't random locations across the city. These are specific bayous where someone clearly knows the area, knows the current, knows how long it takes for bodies to surface.
Houston bayous are back in the spotlight after another body was pulled from the water just this morning. It's the 7th in the past month.
We're seeing bodies in White Oak Bayou, Buffalo Bayou, Brays Bayou, and Greens Bayou. These aren't random waterways. They're connected systems that someone with local knowledge could use to dispose of bodies systematically. The latest body was found in White Oak Bayou near White Oak Drive. HPD confirmed that there are no signs of foul play, but that's become the standard response regardless of the circumstance. They processed the scene in about 2 hours, hardly the thorough investigation you'd expect from a potential homicide.
Well, Lisa, I can tell you that HPD confirmed there are no signs of foul play. Now, I did watch dive crews from HPD's dive team. They pulled the man's body from this water right here behind me.
And here's what should terrify every Houston resident. If they found 53 bodies, how many more are still out there? How many victims haven't surfaced yet? How many family members are still wondering what happened to their missing loved ones? The fact that bodies are being found regularly suggests this isn't someone trying to hide their crimes completely. This is someone who knows that even when bodies are discovered, the official response will be to classify them as accidents or undermine deaths. Now let's talk about how the community is responding to this crisis, because their reaction tells you everything about how failed leadership affects public safety.
At the Harris County Medical Examiner's Office,
has identified the bodies of 3 more people found dead in a Houston bayou.
And that comes as neighbors tell us they want to see changes after another person's body was pulled from a Houston bayou this week.
Residents near White Oak Bayou are demanding basic safety improvements that should have been implemented years ago. Better lighting on trails, regular upkeep for overgrown areas, emergency call buttons, more law enforcement presence. Esmeralda Sato, who's lived in the area her entire life, no longer feels safe in her own neighborhood. She had an incident where somebody jumped out of the bushes while she was walking her dog. Now she's finding out that bodies are being regularly discovered in the same area.
We're finding so many bodies here, and no one is doing anything.
On the trails near White Oak Bayou, Esmeralda Cedillo tells us she no longer feels safe. A
people
part of
walking.
Houston she's lived her entire life.
Her message
not
to
be
city
walking
leaders
there.
is simple. Everybody needs to come together and demand that leadership make the area feel safe, because right now it doesn't feel safe. But here's the problem. City leaders are more concerned with managing public perception than addressing public safety. They keep insisting that there's no serial killer. There's no pattern. These are just isolated incidents involving drugs, alcohol, and homelessness.
My message to my city leaders is everybody needs to come together and perform that leadership that we voted them in for.
Because right now it doesn't feel safe.
It does not feel safe.
Stella Walters with the organization Safe Walk Home points out the obvious. So much money was spent on these trails, and it's alarming for me to find out that it's unsafe. They built these recreational areas, encouraging people to use them, but failed to provide basic security. The homeless population is visible in parts of White Oak Bayou, which residents say require more outreach and support. But instead of addressing the underlying issues that makes these areas dangerous, officials keep denying that there's a problem. City leaders are insisting there's no serial killer despite mounting evidence. Mayor John Whitemire keeps saying these deaths aren't related, calling speculation about a quote-unquote serial killer unfortunate and claiming it's been politicized by candidates.
Now, city leaders say there is no evidence to link the cases and no signs of a serial killer. Many of the victims are believed to have been experiencing homelessness.
But let me ask you something. How many accidental drownings does it take before you start asking if maybe there's something so not accidental about this? How many bodies have to surface before officials start admitting that there might be a pattern here? The standard explanation is that many victims were experiencing homelessness, as if somehow that explains they ended up dead in the bayous. But homelessness doesn't cause people to drown in waterways at this rate. Poverty doesn't create this systematic body discovery.
It seems like they could set up trail cameras and let us know either way. Am I concerned for my safety? No, but there are a lot of people who are at risk, and they deserve to be looked after too.
Even residents are suggesting basic investigative measures that officials haven't implemented. Trail cameras, increased patrol, better monitoring for these areas. But instead of taking proactive steps, the response is to downplay the threat and hope it goes away. The Harris County Sheriff Office conducted what they called enforcement action, but won't release details about arrests or charges. They're treating this like routine business while families are demanding answers and communities are living in fear. This is exactly the kind of response you get when officials care more about their crime statistics than citizen safety. They'd rather call 53 deaths a coincidence than admit they have a serial killer that they can't catch. Now, here's what law enforcement doesn't want to admit. They've been chasing this killer since at least 2022, maybe even earlier. The escalation pattern from 9 bodies in 2023 to 24 bodies in 2025 suggests someone's been operating for years and getting more confident.
We are learning this is actually the 16th body found in Houston's bayou so far this year, and I believe would be about the 6th in a matter of weeks.
But instead of admitting that they have a serial killer problem, officials are still trying to downplay it. They're calling these deaths accidents, suicides, drug-related incidents, anything except the obvious here. Age range of victims tells a story that officials don't want to acknowledge. We've got victims from 15-month-olds to 83-year-olds. That's not somebody targeting a specific demographic for personal reasons. That's someone who kills for the sake of killing.
Obviously, city leaders, even Houston's mayor, have been speaking about this and have adamantly denied there is some sort of a serial killer or issue here in the city.
The diversity of victims, different races, different genders, different ages isn't random. It's calculated. If you want to design a killing spree that couldn't be easily profiled, this is exactly what you do. You target different demographics to avoid creating a clear pattern that law enforcement can't follow. In my opinion, this isn't the work of somebody acting on impulse. This is someone with a system, a method, and the local knowledge to execute it repeatedly without getting caught. The most frustrating part about this story is the complete failure of the investigative response. Families like Alexis Curry's are being left in the dark for months. Cases are being closed as accidents without a thorough investigation. Patterns are being ignored in favor of maintaining comfortable statistics.
We still don't know nothing, and it's been months.
Do you feel like you're left in the dark?
I really do.
We still don't know anything, and it's been months. That's not how you investigate potential homicides. That's not how you handle cases where families are demanding answers. That's how you manage cases you want to disappear quietly. The medical examiner's office is overwhelmed, with most cases of death still pending months after bodies are discovered. But that delay works in the favor of officials who want to avoid admitting that there's a pattern here. By the time autopsy results come back, public attention has moved on. The media has stopped covering individual cases. Families are left to grieve alone while the next body surfaces and the circle repeats itself.
The manner of death in 23 cases is undetermined, meaning it's not possible to establish circumstances of death with reasonable medical certainty.
23 cases classified as undetermined out of 53 total bodies. That's not a medical limitation. That is a systematic failure to properly investigate suspicious deaths. When half of your cases can't be classified, you're either dealing with an incredibly sophisticated killer or incredibly poor investigated work. The fact that only 3 cases out of 53 have been ruled homicides suggests that officials are going out of their way to avoid classifying these deaths as murders. It's easier to call something an accident rather to admit that you have an active serial killer on the loose. Here's what every resident in Houston should be asking. If this isn't a serial killer, what is it? What's the alternative explanation for 53 bodies in the bayous over 3 years? Drug overdoses that all end up in the water? Accidental drownings that happen to cluster in the same locations? Suicides that follow the exact same pattern? Mass homelessness that somehow causes people to drown in unprecedented rates?
Since September 15th, the bodies of 7 people were recovered across Houston. They were in Brays Bayou, Greens Bayou, White Oak Bayou, and Buffalo Bayou.
The statistical impossibility of these being coincidences should be obvious to anyone with basic analytical skills. Houston is a major city, but finding 53 bodies in the bayous over 3 years isn't normal anywhere. That is not a statistical abnormality. It is a crime spree. The fact that officials are still denying it tells you everything you need to know about how crime gets managed in major cities. They'd rather protect their statistics than protect their citizens. If you live in Houston, you need to understand that there's likely a predator operating in your city who's been killing for years. Someone who's comfortable enough to dump bodies in public waterways because they know law enforcement isn't aggressively pursuing them. Someone who's killed babies, elderly people, and everybody in between. Someone who's still out there because officials would rather call it a coincidence than admit that they have a problem that they can't solve. America, 53 bodies in 3 years. Victims ranging from 15 months to 83 years old, multiple races, both genders found in the same waterways. An escalation pattern that shows increasing frequency over time. And officials are still saying that there's no serial killer. That's not law enforcement. That's willful blindness. That's prioritizing statistics over safety. That's failing the community in the most fundamental way possible. Houston residents deserve the truth. They deserve to know that there's a predator in their city. They deserve a real investigation, not bureaucratic denials. They deserve officials who care more about public safety than public relations. Alexis Curry and families like hers deserve answers. They deserve justice for their loved ones. They deserve better than being told that family members just accidentally drowned when evidence suggests something way more sinister. The bottom line is this: when officials care more about crime statistics than citizen safety, people die. And in Houston, 53 people have already paid the price. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you very much. I'm saying, in my head, I don't know. That's just so weird. So weird. 53 bodies is a lot of bodies, right? How come no names were released? How come no autopsy reports have been released? Like, it feels so incomplete, you know? It's like shh, don't make it bigger than what it is. Keep it on the hush. Keep the media quiet. Same thing here with in Connecticut with the killing of the 12-year-old. They're trying to keep it on the hush so it doesn't get too, they don't want DCF to look really bad nationwide, because this is a nationwide problem, not just a Connecticut problem. So 53 bodies is it's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. But they're not saying, okay, this person died like this, or this person died like that, or the baby died like this, and details. I can't go with incomplete. I want to know, autopsy report. I would like to know how they died, like what do they think and how they died. Like, I don't want to be incomplete, and I feel incomplete. So let me go ahead and get this last video up and ready. And we're going to watch the last video of the night, Tyson De La Cruz. Here we go.
Gang and drug bust in Warner Robins. Authorities say 28 people are now behind bars after a year-long investigation into a major narcotics ring.
America, Warner Robins, Georgia just witnessed the largest coordinated law enforcement operation in central Georgia history. 20 different agencies had to work together to take down what police are calling generational crime ring. We're talking about 30 arrests spanning 3 generations of the same family. But here's what's really shocking about this story. These weren't just random criminals. These were families who were literally passed down drug dealing like a family business, with grandparents, parents, and teenagers all working the same criminal enterprise. We're talking about 17-year-olds getting arrested alongside 53-year-olds in coordinated raids that required a 21-month investigation to crack. What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly illustrates what I've been warning you about: the complete breakdown of family values and community structure in America. When crime becomes generational, we're not dealing with individual bad actors anymore. We're dealing with systematic cultural decay that threatens the very fabric of our communities. Let me break down the scope of this operation because the numbers are absolutely staggering. This was Operation Wyndham Way Blockade, a 21-month investigation that required coordination between 20 different law enforcement agencies across central Georgia.
Warner Robins Police Chief Wayne Fisher says Operation Wyndham Way Blockade busted a generational crime ring.
The operation, conducted on the afternoon of October 8th, led to 30 arrests. 6 of those charged were already incarcerated.
Think about this logically. It took 20 law enforcement units and a 21-month investigation to break up one generational crime ring on one street. How many more are out there? How many resources are being drained from law-abiding citizens to deal with families who made crime a generational business model?
Chief Fisher says the ages of the accused range from 17 to 53. He added that crime in Wyndham Way and surrounding neighborhoods has long been an issue.
Almost all have violations of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, with 1 to multiple count.
Police Chief Wayne Fisher specifically said this has been a historic problem in our community. When he says historic, he means families passing down criminal enterprises like people passing down recipes for meatloaf. This is what happens when you let crime become culturally acceptable in a community.
Wednesday's raid led to 28 arrests, all connected to a gang-driven drug operation in Warner Robins.
There had been complaints from people in the neighborhood
and it really got them looking at what was going on over there.
Now here's where it gets really disturbing, and this is what mainstream media won't tell you. Chief Fisher specifically said, you have had a family historically in the community engaging with what developed as criminal enterprise. Translation, grandparents teaching parents, parents teaching kids, kids growing up thinking that's normal. This is what happens when you let crime become culturally acceptable.
During the search, law enforcement seized more than $27,000, 8 vehicles, and 6 guns, along with drugs like meth, ecstasy, and marijuana.
The evidence they seized tells you the entire story. More than $27,000 in cash, 8 vehicles, 6 guns, nearly 25 pounds of Mary Jane, 6 grams of methamphetamine, plus ecstasy and cocaine. But here's what really gets me fired up. Chief Fisher said this ring was feeding hundreds of pounds of drugs into the community each year. And what they caught was just sitting around on the raid day.
If you have a certain crime ring like that taking place in your community, other crimes gear off of it.
The Warner Robins Police Department, alongside the Houston County Sheriff's Office, teamed up with other agencies like the United States Marshal Service, Georgia State Patrol, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
This is exactly what I've been telling you about the ripple effect of crime. When you have generational criminal enterprises operating in communities, it just doesn't affect drug sales. Now let's talk about the legal implications here, because this wasn't just about drug possession charges. Almost 30 defendants are facing violations in Georgia's Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, and they were being prosecuted under RICO charges.
Warner Robins Mayor LaRonda Patrick says she's hopeful their work will help residents in the impacted area feel more safe.
It makes me feel really, really good. We're very proud of our team and our community and the joint effort that this took.
For those of you that aren't familiar with RICO charges, Racketeering, Influence, and Corruption Organization Act is what's used when you're dealing with organized criminal enterprises. This is an individual crime. This is systematic, organized criminal activity that requires dismantling the entire networks.
According to Chief Fisher, the operation came as the result of a 21-month investigation, with a grand total of 355 warrants signed. He says there's more work to do, but he's relieved to get 30 criminals off the street.
355 warrants. That is not a typo. It took 355 different warrants to build a case against one generational crime family. Think about the man hours, the resources, the coordination required. This is what happens when crime becomes a family tradition instead of individual choices.
All will be brought underneath the RICO charge being prosecuted out of the Houston County District Attorney's Office. Again, it would work hand in glove with to bring a durable solution to the problem that has been facing this community.
District Attorney Eric Edwards calls this one of the most extensive operations that he has ever handled. He said the goal was clear: stop the flow of drugs in Houston County before it costs more lives. This, my friends, is what real law enforcement looks like when you're serious about dismantling criminal organization. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting. They're interviewing some neighbors, and one guy said he felt safe for 20 years and didn't know about the operation. That is exactly the problem. How do you have a massive drug operation running for generations in a neighborhood that didn't even know about it?
But for some neighbors, the bust came as a surprise.
The perspective in the neighborhood hasn't changed. I mean, I still feel safe here.
Ryan Quaid lives just a few houses away from one of the homes raided.
He moved into the neighborhood 6 months ago and says the streets have always been quiet. Think about this. Either people are willfully blind, or these operations are so embedded in the community that they've become invisible.
Individual actions don't predict like anyone's, whether it's safety or anything like that, you know? And so it's like, I'm glad to see that people were doing their job and helping keep the community safe at least.
This is what I've been telling you about the normalization of crime. When criminal enterprises operate for decades in the same location, they become part of the community fabric. People stop seeing them as criminal operations and start seeing them as just how things are.
Edwards calls it one of the most extensive operations he's handled. He says it's just one step in a larger effort to keep dangerous drugs off Houston County streets.
It's been a huge focus of all of our local law enforcement. Overdose deaths are something that plagues the entire country.
Let me give you the hard data that mainstream media won't emphasize here. Warner Robins has a crime rate that exceeds national average for both violent and property crime. The Georgia Gang Investigators Association found a substantial increase in gang memberships and activity across the state since 2018, with gangs linked to a majority of the state's violent crimes. This October 2025 operation isn't just happening in isolation. This is just one of multiple major busts happening right now. This tells me the problem in this street, in this community, is way bigger than one family.
The investigation started in 2024 after neighbors spoke up about suspicious activity. After a year-long investigation, police gathered enough information to serve warrants at multiple locations where they found drugs like marijuana, meth, and cocaine.
Think about the timeline here. This operation was running for years before anybody said anything. How many communities across America have similar situations where generational crime families operate with impunity because people are too afraid to speak out? District Attorney Edwards specifically mentioned that overdose deaths plague the entire country. This isn't just a Warner Robins problem. This is a national crisis being fueled by generational criminal enterprises that treat drug dealing like a family business. This is what I've been telling you about cultural decay. When crime becomes generational, when families pass down criminal enterprises instead of work ethic and values, we're looking at a complete breakdown of the social fabric. This isn't poverty causing crime. This is crime becoming a family tradition. And you know what will fix this? It's not complicated at all. You break the cycle by making crime unprofitable and holding entire networks accountable. When you arrest 30 people in one operation and they're all related or connected, you don't just prosecute individuals, you dismantle the entire enterprise.
We don't want our people in Houston County dropping dead because of ingesting illegal narcotic.
District Attorney Eric Edwards says the goal was clear: stop the flow of drugs in Houston County before it cost more lives.
In my opinion, this is what we need more of across America: law enforcement that's willing to invest 21 months, which is a long time, and coordinate 20 agencies to dismantle generational crime families, prosecutors who understand that RICO charges are necessary when you're dealing with organized criminal enterprises. But here's what really gets me fired up about this whole situation. While politicians are busy with their pet projects, virtue signalings, communities like Warren Robins are dealing with multi-generational crime families that require massive law enforcement operations to dismantle. Where's the federal support here? Where's the media attention? Meanwhile, law-abiding citizens in Warner Roberts have been living with the consequences of criminal enterprises for decades. Increased property crime, drug activity, violence, all because we allowed crime to become generational instead of stopping it when it started. This is what happens when we don't hold people accountable for their choices. We make excuses for their criminal behavior instead of demanding consequences. When we treat crime like a social problem instead of a moral failure. America, this is what real law enforcement looks like when they're serious about protecting communities. Warner Robins just showed us what happens when you let crime become a family business and what it takes to dismantle generational criminal enterprises. The scenes we're seeing: 30 arrests spanning 3 generations, 355 warrants, 20 law enforcement agencies working together. This is what's necessary when crime becomes culturally embedded in communities. This is why we need to support law enforcement, demand accountability from prosecutors, and stop making excuses for generational criminal behavior. When families choose crime as their legacy, the community has a choice to choose justice as their response. Warner Robins just showed us what happens when you let crime become a family business. The question is, how many more Wyndham ways are out there? And what are we going to do about it? Because I guarantee you, this isn't an isolated problem. It's a preview of what happens when we stop holding people accountable for their choices. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, no crew. Thank you. An awesome upload there. And that's the last one of the night. So I'm ready to wrap it up. I am so tired. I'm sore from my physical therapy today, and I've been so tired. This week I'm already done with. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I hope it's a good weekend. I hope everyone has a good weekend. And I'll be back on here tomorrow to cover the No Kings bullshit. That's what I'm calling it. The No Kings, is it a protest? Is it a march? What is it? Like, I don't even know what it is. It's a No Kings some shit. Like, it's some shit with them. Some No Kings shit. And then they need to follow the money and who's paying for this shit and who's paying for these like these people don't have like they're this is what they waste their life on. They waste their time and their life for what? What's this gonna do for you? You know, what is this gonna improve your life? Your life is gonna be like change. Like the Democrats are very sore losers, and they like to cry a lot and bitch a lot and fuss a lot, and they'll use every measure to disrupt. That's the Democratic way. You know, when they don't get their way, they get tantrums and they start sparking up riots and all the craziness throughout the country. We're going to have a No King's Day 2.0. 2.0? What the fuck you mean 2.0? You already had one? Then what the fuck is this about now? Another No King? You can't come up with another fucking idea? You had to like 2.0 the first one? Like, what the fuck? That's crazy. I don't know. That beats me. But I'll try to be on here to cover it. I mean, I got shit to do tomorrow. So let me take care of me and then I'll come on here whenever I come on and we'll cover the No Kings bullshit. And then we'll see from there. So, well, without further ado, have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And like I said, I'll be here tomorrow for the crazy protests of stupidity known to man. The No Kings bullshit. It's so stupid. All right, guys. Have a good night and enjoy the weekend. Peace.